Chapter 217. Furthermore, Dai Meng would not let this matter go so easily. Hence, Fang Yu had to quickly advance to martial spirit. Just as Feng Yaoguang was about to say something, her expression changed. This is the beast horde coming? Why is it brought forward? Feng Yaoguang muttered to herself. According to the original time, the beast horde would take at least 2 hours to arrive. Now that it was brought forward, what was going on? Let's go out and take a look, Fang Yu said. Everyone walked out of the array tower and looked into the distance. Indeed, there were black lines slowly appearing. It's the beast horde. The beast horde has come forward. What's going on? Why is the beast horde coming forward? Be careful, activate the array. The array has already been activated. I wonder what happened to those who did not enter the city in time. Everyone's tone was heavy. If they did not enter the city before the beast horde arrived, they would have to face the beast horde directly. It was not that they would definitely die if they did not enter the city, but the probability was very high. Hence, they had entered the city early to see which experts had gathered in Flame City. Secondly, they wanted to avoid the beast horde and avoid putting themselves in danger. Dai Meng seems to have gone out and did not return. No one knew who said this. Then, some people could not help but look at Fang Yu. Dai Meng was not someone who was easy to talk to. Fang Yu had embarrassed her so much. She would definitely get back at him. When that time came, there would be a good show to watch. Yes, Fang Yu seems to have obtained the good fortune of Flame City. Are you going to challenge him? This? I think not. Many people remembered that Fang Yu had obtained the good fortune of Flame City. They had not forgotten about it. However, Fang Yu was too fierce. Facing someone like Dai Meng, he was still able to win. Even if Dai Meng did not use her full strength, Fang Yu had indeed grasped the opportunity very well. At that time, he only needed 1 slash to kill Dai Meng. Moreover, they recalled that unless Fang Yu was not given a chance, Fang Yu would always be able to control his opponent's lifeline. For example, a dagger landed on Xiao Yu's long leg, a kick sent sword demon flying, and so on. This series of attacks could be said to be impeccable. As time passed, these demonic beasts gradually approached Flame City. Upon seeing them clearly, Fang Yu's expression turned grave. So many demonic beasts. Fang Yu muttered to himself. At a glance, there were definitely thousands of demonic beasts. Even a martial grandmaster would die of exhaustion if he had to kill 1,000 level 1 demonic beasts. Moreover, the demonic beasts here were not only level 1, level 2 and level 3. He had already seen quite a few level 4, level 5 and level 6 demonic beasts. Where is the class 7 demonic beast hiding? Fang Yu's gaze swept around, but he couldn't find him. Kid, speaking of which, I just thought of an excellent method. Not only can we slaughter the demonic beasts, but we can also preserve our lives. The dragon's soul suddenly spoke. Oh? What kind of method is that, and what did you just call me? I said, I won't allow you to be so disrespectful to me. Fang Yu said sternly. Cough cough. My mistake, my mistake. But I've already helped you think of a method, and you still won't allow me to call you kid? And speaking of age, I'm older than you. The dragon's soul blabbered nonstop. Fang Yu rolled his eyes and said, if your method is really effective, it's fine to let you take advantage of me. That's what you said, the dragon's soul said agitatedly. Have you forgotten how we suppressed Dai Meng, that little lowly? Dai Meng? Could it be the dragon sect? Fang Yu's eyes flashed. That's right, demonic beasts also have bloodlines. You can even suppress Dai Meng's bloodline, so these little demonic beasts are nothing. Don't you think this is a good idea? Hurry up and praise me. The dragon's soul said proudly. I'll remember your merit. As for calling me kid and so on, wait until I really earn enough points. Fang Yu replied. This. Didn't you just agree to it? The dragon's soul was anxious. How could it be different from what they agreed? Fang Yu ignored the dragon's soul and said to Mo Ling, "Open the array, I want to go out." What? Mo Ling was not the only one who was shocked. Everyone nearby was shocked by Fang Yu's words. Now that the beast tide had arrived, if they didn't have the protection of Flame City's array formation, it was unknown how many of them would be able to survive this beast tide. Fang Yu, on the other hand, did not care about the danger and directly asked to open the array to let him go out. What was he going to do outside? Of course, he was going to hunt demonic beasts. He could not possibly go after Dai Meng. It's very dangerous, Feng Yaoguang reminded. She had explained to Fang Yu before, but that did not mean that she approved of Fang Yu taking the risk. Although Fang Yu insisted on taking the risk, she could not do anything about it. I've made up my mind. Don't worry, I never do things that I'm not confident in, Fang Yu replied. Feng Yaoguang's expression changed. She wanted to stop him. However, based on her understanding of Fang Yu would not change his mind no matter what she said. Hurry up and open the array. Otherwise, it will be too dangerous when the beast horde arrives. A lazy male voice sounded. Bai Wuxia. Everyone looked at Bai Wuxia. It was rumored that he and Fang Yu had an agreement to travel together, and he had personally admitted it. Now, it seemed that the rumors were true. It's you. Are you interested in making a trip with me? Fang Yu grinned. Although Bai Wuxia was a little naive in terms of strength, Fang Yu still admired him. I think I'll pass. It's too dangerous. I'm not a lunatic like Dai Meng. Don't think that I'll do something that might cost me my life. Bai Wuxia pursed his lips and said. All right then. Fang Yu did not try to persuade him. Open the array. Mo Ling said to Kogure. Kogure was speechless. Since when did he become a menial character? What happened to being a companion? However, Kogure still obediently went to open the array. If he did not open the array now, it would be really dangerous when the beast horde arrived. Swish. In the next instant, Fang Yu disappeared in a flash and landed outside Flame City. He really went. Everyone was dumbfounded. If Fang Yu had defeated 10 people in a row during the day to intimidate or show off his strength, then after defeating Dai Meng and forcing her to flee, he had achieved his goal. At the very least, when Fang Yu appeared, the surrounding people subconsciously retreated. This was enough to explain everything. Since that was the case, what was Fang Yu going to do now? Continue acting cool? If he wasn't acting cool, then he was on the way to acting cool? Wasn't he going too far? He would die. Chapter 218. Huff, huff, Dai Meng hid in a tree and watched the incoming beast tide from afar. Her breathing was hurried. She had no choice. After her bloodline power was mysteriously suppressed by Fang Yu, she could not recover in a short period of time. However, the beast tide had arrived in advance. She could only endure the discomfort in her body and scout ahead. Beast tide, in fact, this was not the first time Dai Meng faced it. When Dai Meng was outside, she had already tried to charge into the beast tide alone. However, the scale was not as big as this. At that time, Dai Meng had almost killed all the demonic beasts in the beast tide alone. Although the highest level was only level 4 or 5, it was already extremely shocking to have the guts to charge into the beast tide. Because of this, after entering the Azure Dragon Mirror, Dai Meng had the idea to go on a killing spree and collect points when the beast tide arrived. However, she had never expected to encounter Fang Yu and suffer such a huge loss. Fang Yu. Dai Meng gritted her teeth. She swore that this matter would not be settled so easily. Fang Yu, she would definitely take revenge for this. Suddenly, Dai Meng narrowed her eyes as if she had discovered something. In the direction of Flame City, did someone leave the city just now? Leaving the city now? Could it be? Dai Meng hesitated for a moment. Could it be that, like her, they had been defeated and escaped from the city? Pooey. I did not escape. This is a strategic retreat. Dai Meng thought fiercely. This was the first time in her life that she had suffered such humiliation. Everyone said that she, Dai Meng, was a reincarnated person. In fact, whether she was or not, Dai Meng herself was not sure, although she would occasionally recall some memories that did not seem to belong to her. However, Dai Meng is Dai Meng. Not anyone. Dai Meng took a deep breath and thought to herself. She had always been cultivating with this thought in mind. Therefore, she was very ruthless to herself. She was afraid that once she was not ruthless enough, the so-called her from the previous life would take the opportunity to occupy this body. Even though the so-called me in my previous life had brought him too many benefits, it was still not enough. From time to time, the cultivation memories that appeared, some of which could be considered high-end cultivation techniques and martial arts, made her extremely moved. However, Dai Meng still only wanted to be herself, only Dai Meng. As the figure got closer and closer, Dai Meng took a closer look. He looked a little familiar. It's Fang Yu. Dai Meng widened her big eyes. It really was Fang Yu. She had been thinking day and night about finding a chance to kill Fang Yu. Who would have thought that Fang Yu would actually deliver himself to my doorstep? The heavens are really helping me, ah. Haha, Fang Yu. Dai Meng really wanted to laugh out loud and then take Fang Yu's dog head. But in the end, she did not act on impulse. She knew how terrifying Fang Yu was. If she rashly attacked him now, what if he used the same trick to suppress her bloodline? Wouldn't she be at his mercy? He's a lecher. Dai Meng snorted at the thought of Fang Yu hugging women. She would be in danger if she fell into the hands of such a guy. Since he's not afraid of death and took the initiative to come out, I'll just wait for an opportunity. When he's exhausted, I'll cut off his head and throw it to his two lovers. I really want to see how they react. Dai Meng thought proudly. Sometimes she would be shocked by her own thoughts. She felt that it was too bloodthirsty and too terrifying. However, she could swear that these thoughts were really not her own initiative. Instead, it appeared out of nowhere. The only explanation was that these thoughts came from her previous life. She didn't dare to think about what kind of person she was in her previous life. Or rather, since she wasn't a good person who left behind records in the Wanling continent, then she must be a great devil who did all kinds of evil. She didn't want to confirm it. Especially after flipping through the history books and not finding her, Dai Meng threw this thought to the back of her mind. Fang Yu didn't know that Dai Meng was staring at him. However, even if he knew, he wouldn't care. So what if she was staring at him? Dai Meng, kill him if you have the ability. If you don't have the ability or the guts, then go to the side and don't talk nonsense with him. Coming. Fang Yu was so focused that he didn't notice Dai Meng. After all, Dai Meng wasn't in Fang Yu's safe zone. She maintained a relatively distant distance. Because of this, when Fang Yu came out, she didn't notice that it was Fang Yu at the first moment. As for sensing, there were too many beasts here. The aura was too mottled. It wasn't that easy for Dai Meng to sense it. Dragon Sect. Fang Yu awakened the Dragon Sect in his body. He had indeed subdued the Dragon Sect, but he hadn't completely become the master of the Dragon Sect. This was a treasure that was highly respected by the Dragon Clan even if it was an imitation. It wasn't something that he could fully control now. However, it was still possible for Fang Yu to activate some of its power. For example, using the power of the Dragon Sect to intimidate the beast. Buzz, a wave of undetectable fluctuations spread out from Fang Yu's body. This is... Dai Meng opened her eyes wide. Was this the power that suppressed her previously? What kind of power was this? To be able to suppress several of her bloodlines at the same time, it was unbelievable. The beasts at the front were affected by Fang Yu's fluctuations and stopped in their tracks. This pause was fine, but the beasts behind them couldn't stop in time, and all of a sudden, they all crashed into each other. Bang! 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 Many beasts rolled into a ball, flesh and blood splattering everywhere. Even if they didn't die, they were on their last breath. That's it? Fang Yu had a strange look on his face. He thought that it would be more difficult. After all, the beast horde was coming menacingly. It looked like they would be trampled into meat paste if they were careless. He didn't expect that the moment the dragon sect appeared, these beasts couldn't do it. Humph. This is the power of a creature at the top of the food chain. If ordinary beasts encounter it, it's already good enough that they don't piss their pants. The dragon's soul looked at all of this and was very satisfied with the reactions of these beasts. In fact, the genuine dragon sect, let alone a small beast horde, even the real dragon clan had to submit. This scene was child's play. Flame City, on the city wall. Everyone was shocked by Fang Yu's actions. At first, when they saw Fang Yu facing the beast horde, they couldn't help but think that Fang Yu was finished. Even people as strong as Bai Wuxia and Meian didn't dare to face the beast horde directly. Although it was said that the first drum of energy would weaken and the third drum of energy would be exhausted, how could a martial artist fight against a beast horde with a body of flesh and blood? In the end, Fang Yu was fine, but the beast horde was the first to fall into chaos. What the hell was this? This person is really… Mo Ling's palms were sweating. Even though in her divination, Fang Yu would definitely not die because of this, there was no medicine that could cure an illness that could not be cured. Those who sought their own deaths were not included in the scope of her divination. Chapter 219. This was because the Tao of divination was not such a magical thing to begin with. It could only be said that it was a little predestined, a certainty in a coincidence. For example, a mortal's lifespan should be exactly 100 years old. However, when he was 18 years old, he took the initiative to receive a punch from a martial emperor. Obviously, he would not live to be 100 years old. It was the same for Fang Yu to take the initiative to face the beast tide. Fortunately, Fang Yu's strength was still beyond their imagination. First, he used an unknown method to intimidate the demon beasts and disrupt their formation. Now, he even took the initiative to attack and hunt the demon beasts. The sun rises. With a sweep of Fang Yu's hand, several demon beasts were instantly killed. Ding. Host experience plus 10. Ding. Host experience plus 15. Ding. Host experience plus 30. As the level of the demon beasts Fang Yu hunted was different, the experience he received was also different. Experience is so little, Fang Yu frowned. Perhaps it was because his level was too high and these demon beasts' levels were too low. Then I'll just kill some higher-level demon beasts. Fang Yu charged into the torrent of demon beasts and went straight for level 4 and above demon beasts. What is he doing? Everyone was shocked. Was Fang Yu deliberately choosing high-level demon beasts to kill? This was too crazy, too risky. Crazy. Originally, charging into the beast tide was no different from courting death. Now, he's deliberately killing higher-level demon beasts. Fang Yu, oh Fang Yu, do you really think that you can do whatever you want now that you're at the top of the list? No. Not to mention that it's useless to reach the top now. Even if he reaches the top later, the result will probably be the same. After all, there are still demon beasts of level 7 and above hidden among these demon beasts. But Fang Yu didn't die one after another. What if he doesn't die this time? Everyone looked at Fang Yu with fear in their eyes. As the saying goes, the timid are afraid of the bold, and the bold are afraid of the reckless. Fang Yu was the kind of person who didn't care about his own life. Rumble. At this moment, there were already demonic beasts attacking from below Flame City. They were constantly attacking the city walls, causing rumbling sounds to ring out. Everyone's expression changed. If it wasn't for the protection of the array formation, the city wall would have collapsed by now. With so many demonic beasts, it could definitely be called a magnificent army. To think that Feng Yu didn't die under such an impulse, someone suddenly said. Everyone came to a sudden realization, and their expressions changed again. That's right. Now that they were looking down at everything from a high vantage point, they felt extremely terrified. Then, what kind of courage did Feng Yu have when he charged into the torrent of demonic beasts? If this kid doesn't die, he will definitely become a top figure. The inspectors, who were also dumbfounded, only commented after a long while. They had seen many proud sons of heaven and young geniuses. However, this was the first time they had seen someone like Feng Yu. Too sharp, too terrifying. Just like what many martial artists said, charging into the demonic beast horde was akin to risking one's life. Not to mention that this was only the early stage of the second round. Even if it was the middle stage or later stage, or any other time, going against the demonic beast horde was akin to risking one's life. This was because there was a pattern to the demonic beast horde. The intensity of the demonic beast horde was different at different stages. It was only the first day of the second round, and this wave of demonic beast horde had at most 1 or 2 demonic beasts of level 7 and above. However, it was different after that. At the later stage, it wouldn't be strange if a demonic king-level demonic beast appeared. This kid is collecting the demonic beast's inner core? A sharp-eyed inspector noticed Feng Yu's actions, and was extremely shocked. Hunting demonic beasts in the demonic beast horde was originally an extremely dangerous thing to do. As for the inner core of the demonic beast, he definitely had to give up on it. This was because there were too many demonic beasts densely packed together. After killing one demonic beast, he still had to take the opportunity to retrieve the inner core, which was too difficult. It could be said that he was risking his life. If other demonic beasts suddenly attacked while he was collecting, then it would be dangerous. But Feng Yu did not care. He really collected the demonic beast's inner cores as he killed, as if he was in a no-man's land. At the same time, Feng Yu's points skyrocketed with a whoosh. In just slightly over 15 minutes, it already reached 1,300 points. 1,300 points. The contestants in the Azure Dragon Mirror could see the leaderboard, and they were all stunned by Feng Yu. What was going on? What was this person doing? Although the Flame City's martial artists witnessed the entire process, the martial artists in the other regions did not see Feng Yu's every move. They could only deduce from the conditions added at the last minute by the Azure Dragon Mirror that Feng Yu probably obtained the good fortune of some ruins, so he added points. The small increments of points after that were probably from defeating the challengers who came to challenge him. Then the crazily increasing points now is, could it be that he even went out to face the demonic beast horde? The faces of the martial artists who thought of this possibility all changed drastically, because they were also looking at the demonic beast horde outside their respective cities. The demonic beast horde varied in scale according to the size of the city. However, the strength of the demonic beast horde was different for cities of different sizes. The proportion of danger was quite high. They did not dare to take the risk of going out of the city, but Feng Yu did so. Where did this lunatic come from? At this moment, in everyone's hearts, Feng Yu's current first place was more or less in reality. Obtaining the good fortune of the ruins could be due to good luck, but it could be due to luck. However, charging into the demonic beast horde and crazily harvesting points, this was a lunatic, but also an expert. He was worthy of respect. There were even many people who secretly swore that they would definitely challenge this Feng Yu at least once. Of course, Feng Yu still did not know that his excessive posturing had the opposite effect. He was like a tireless machine, constantly slaughtering. He even specifically chose powerful demonic beasts to attack. While slaughtering them, he also took their inner cores. Look at Feng Yu's aura. Did he advance? Mayan frowned and looked over. He was an 8-star martial Grand Master before, but now, he is already a peak martial Grand Master. There were some differences between a peak martial Grand Master and a 9-star martial Grand Master. The so-called peak martial Grand Master was even higher than a 9-star martial Grand Master. He had the ability to try to reach the martial spirit realm at any time. At this time, he had to make a choice. Was it a perfect half-step or a single step to the heavens? A perfect half-step was to progress step by step, approaching the martial spirit realm step by step. A single step to the heavens was to do it in a spurt of energy. Without absolute confidence, one would not touch the threshold of the martial spirit realm. When enough energy was accumulated, one would cross the threshold in one breath. It was called a single step to the heavens. He actually took the opportunity to advance? Seeing this, Dai Meng was a little anxious. If Fang Yu continued to harvest like crazy, or even had a flash of inspiration and reached the heavens in a single step, what should she do? Chapter 220. No. I can't let him continue like this. Dai Meng made up her mind not to let Fang Yu continue to collect points. If this continued, Fang Yu's foundation would get thicker and thicker. If Fang Yu really took the opportunity to break through, she would have no hope of revenge. Fang Yu, kid. At this moment, Feng Yaoguang noticed a figure rushing towards Fang Yu. She was so anxious that she shouted, Fang Yu seemed to have sensed something and looked towards the direction where Dai Meng was coming from. After realizing that it was Dai Meng, he was stunned for a moment before smiling. You chose to barge into hell when there's a path to heaven? Fang Yu asked with a smile. Originally, he was still thinking of finding Dai Meng and giving her a good beating. Now, before he had time to find her, Dai Meng had jumped out. She really came at the right time. You think you've got me? Blood demon body. Dai Meng sneered. Then, the flesh and blood around her gathered behind her and turned into a giant flesh and blood beast. This, Fang Yu was stunned. He did not expect this woman to have such a move. It could be said that if Dai Meng did not act tough and used the so-called blood demon body, Fang Yu's chances would not be so high. At least, he would not have won so easily. Blood demon body. This is not a martial art from our side. An inspector was deep in thought. When he was not an inspector, he was in charge of managing the library in Azure Dragon College. The library was different from the scripture pavilion and the martial arts building where cultivation techniques were stored. Instead, it was a collection of books and unofficial histories related to cultivation. Among them, it was mentioned that in the remote lands of the western regions, in some remote places, there was this kind of evil method of skirting the boundaries. He had also heard that Dai Meng was said to be a reincarnated person. Although he could not find Dai Meng's previous life in many official histories, he knew a thing or two about it. Usually, if it was not the righteous path, it was the evil path. There were not many who were both righteous and evil. Even if there were, they were very famous. It was impossible not to know. However, what Dai Meng usually used was the power of her bloodline. Bloodline power did not differentiate between good and evil, so he could not see any clues. However, now that Dai Meng had displayed the blood demon's body, it further confirmed that Dai Meng might have been an evil person in her previous life. That being said, as long as Dai Meng didn't do anything bad in this life and didn't have a bad record, no one would question her. The reason was very simple. You didn't even know who she was in her previous life. Just because she looked like someone from the evil path, you killed her. That was very unreasonable. Generally speaking, unless there was real evidence to reveal that Dai Meng was actually an evil person, most people would turn a blind eye to this kind of person. After all, reincarnation had its drawbacks. After you reincarnate, you might not be you anymore. This kind of risk was not small. In the past, many people had swallowed the consciousness of their previous lives after reincarnating, thus strengthening themselves. It was precisely because there were so many precedents that they couldn't easily label Dai Meng as evil. Even now, Dai Meng was using a strange power to attack Fang Yu. The blood demon's body was very strange. It seemed to have its own consciousness. It directly grabbed at Fang Yu. Its arm extended, causing people to shudder at a glance. Weakness exploit. Fang Yu did not hold back. He attacked with a powerful saber. Towards a woman like Dai Meng, if he had tender feelings for the fairer sex, he should be prepared to collect his own corpse. Bang! Fang Yu slashed the blood demon's arm. However, it quickly regenerated, causing Fang Yu to frown slightly. Haha, what do you think the source of the blood demon's body's power is? You've slaughtered so many demonic beasts here. It can be said that you've prepared countless materials for the blood demon's body. No matter how you kill, it can recover to normal. Not to mention, there's still me here. With that said, Dai Meng attacked. Humph! Fang Yu raised his saber to meet the attack. For a moment, the people of Flame City did not know what to say. Fang Yu rashly went out to hunt demonic beasts. It was already crazy enough. Dai Meng, for revenge, did not care about anything else. This was even more unexpected, especially when the blood demon's body was so strong. Some people who originally thought that they could arm wrestle with Dai Meng dispelled that thought. No wonder he's called a little martial king. Lu Xinjian's face was pale. It was really difficult for Fang Yu to fight with Dai Meng in the middle of the beast tide. If it was another person, they would have been torn apart by the demonic beasts here. They, on the other hand, were actually fighting to their heart's content. Boom! Fang Yu slashed half of the blood demon's body. He quickly used the soaring dragon technique to teleport, because Dai Meng was here. In the next moment, the blood demon's body recovered after absorbing the blood and flesh of the demonic beasts nearby. To be honest, the blood demon's body was not very strong. At most, it was at the standard of a 4-star martial master. Unfortunately, it could not be killed. No matter how it was killed, it could be revived quickly. Fang Yu's stamina was greatly depleted when he was slaughtering the demonic beasts. Now that he had to face 2 strong opponents, the blood demon's body and Dai Meng, it was really difficult. Don't be rash. Seeing that Feng Yaoguang wanted to go out to help, Mo Ling quickly said, "Don't you know their strength? They are all extremely terrifying. Even if it's me, if I'm not serious, I won't be able to win. Not to mention that there are so many demonic beasts here. It's not that they don't want to attack Fang Yu, but they are afraid of something. Also, it's probably the will of the Azure Dragon Mirror. Their instinct is to attack Flame City. Anyway, it's very dangerous to go out now. It's no different from suicide." Feng Yaoguang opened her mouth. Before she could say anything, a roar attracted everyone's attention. Roar! Suddenly, a low roar woke up Fang Yu and Dai Meng, who were in the middle of a fight. Grade 7 demonic beast. Realizing who the owner of the roar was, Fang Yu's expression changed. At the same time, he distanced himself from Dai Meng and the blood demon's body. Facing Dai Meng and the blood demon's body at the same time, he really couldn't handle it. Dai Meng also retreated and used the blood demon's body to protect herself. She was not the Azure Dragon Mirror and could not command the demonic beasts here. If the grade 7 demonic beast did not attack Fang Yu but targeted her, then she would be in trouble. The owner of the roar slowly appeared. It was a pitch-black demonic wolf. It was huge and looked like it had just arrived. It stared curiously at Fang Yu and Dai Meng. It did not expect that there would be 2 such troublemakers in tonight's beast tide. This made it very unhappy. Demonic beasts of the martial spirit level had a considerable amount of intelligence and intelligence. They vaguely understood the meaning of the Azure Dragon Mirror. Every night they would attack the various cities. Regardless of success or failure, they would receive some rewards and benefit. Tonight it was in charge of Flame City. Chapter 221. Blazing City had always been feared by many cultivators. This meant that it might be able to complete this mission easily. However, Fang Yu's appearance caused an unforeseen event to occur. Many demonic beasts were killed or injured by Fang Yu before being trampled to death by other demonic beasts. Although a mere cultivator wasn't enough to affect the overall situation, if this thorn wasn't removed in time, who would have the time to interfere in the future? How was it going to survive then? However, it never expected that before it could deal with Fang Yu, Dai Meng would come again. She wasn't any weaker than Fang Yu. In fact, she was even stronger. The two of them caused waves in the beast horde. It could be said that if there were more of them, the beast horde's formation would be disrupted. Since that was the case, as the leader of the beast horde, it couldn't sit by and do nothing. It's a bloodthirsty demon wolf. Recognizing what kind of demonic beast it was, Mo Ling's expression changed slightly. This is a demonic beast whose attack power exceeds its own level. It's not easy to deal with. Just like human cultivators, some could rely on the power of their bloodline to fight above their level. The bloodthirsty demon wolf was the same. Then, isn't Fang Yu in danger? Feng Yaoguang was worried. Although I really want to say, this isn't the first time Fang Yu has done something so dangerous. There's nothing strange about it. This time, he should be able to escape unscathed. Mo Ling smiled helplessly. She really hoped that Fang Yu would be like what she thought and steadily increase his strength to dominate the second round. However, this guy who stirred up trouble wherever he went was destined to never develop in a wretched manner. He would always stand at the peak of the storm. At the very least, it had been so since the first day she met Fang Yu. However, there's a saying, to use magic to defeat magic. I definitely can't win against a monster like my senior sister by myself. However, with Fang Yu, there's a chance. Mo Ling's eyes shone brightly. Especially since Fang Yu didn't take the normal path, she saw hope in him. Every time Fang Yu came back from the brink of death, although she couldn't do anything about it, her chances of defeating her senior sister would increase. What she was playing with was her heart beating faster. Brat, a 7th-grade demonic beast, and in such a situation, you can't fight it head-on, the dragon's soul hurriedly said. Why? Fang Yu was puzzled. Since the Dragon Gate was a divine weapon to suppress the demonic beasts, why didn't it take advantage of the situation and suppress the Class 7 demonic beast as well? First of all, our Dragon Gate is just a replica. It's not the real Dragon Gate. Secondly, you're not even a martial spirit, and you want to activate the full power of the Dragon Gate. The dragon's soul said with a look of disdain. So now is, Fang Yu asked. Fight and retreat. The dragon's soul said decisively. Although the harvest is a bit less than what I expected, it's still not enough. But there will be a beast tide every night. It's a long way to go. Yes. Fang Yu was a bit reluctant, but the dragon's soul was right. Retreating now would only bring him benefits and no harm. If he provoked this 7th-grade demonic beast and had to fight to the death now, it would be a bit difficult to deal with. That's right. The terrifying thing about this 7th-grade demonic beast is that it can control the direction of the beast tide. It's undeniable that you're already very strong now. But if all the demonic beasts here kill you regardless of everything, I dare say that even if you have the Dragon Gate in your hands, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Our overall situation is set. Victory is in our hands. There's no need to take this risk. The dragon's soul spoke frankly and was good at being a teacher. Dai Meng. I'll deal with her next time. Fang Yu's eyes flashed. The debt between him and Dai Meng would not be easily settled. Even if he didn't settle it today, he would find this woman to settle this debt in the future. She lost the challenge and fled. During the beast tide, she wanted to take the opportunity to deal with him. How bold! Fang Yu, you want to escape? Realizing that Fang Yu wanted to leave, Dai Meng was furious. She hadn't decided the victor with Fang Yu yet, and she wanted to leave now? What did he take her for? Crazy woman. Realizing that Dai Meng was about to attack him and stop him from leaving at all costs, Fang Yu's expression changed slightly. This woman is too obsessed with winning or losing. Roar. When the bloodthirsty fiend wolf discovered that one of them wanted to leave and the other wanted to chase, it flew into a rage. What did he take it for? Did he completely treat it as if it didn't exist? Despicable humans. What? Dai Meng realized that the bloodthirsty fiend wolf was charging towards her and couldn't help but turn pale. She was too obsessed with Fang Yu just now and forgot that there was still a bloodthirsty fiend wolf here. Bang! The bloodthirsty fiend wolf scattered the blood demon's body with a claw, but it quickly condensed together again. At this moment, Fang Yu realized that the newly condensed blood demon's body seemed to be a little weaker. Dai Meng's aura had also weakened. And this is probably the weakness of the blood demon's body. I've said that with her cultivation, no matter how brilliant her cultivation technique or martial arts are, it's impossible for her to have no weaknesses. The dragon soul said with a smile. Then what about martial saint and martial emperor level cultivation techniques and martial arts? Fang Yu asked again. Are you a contrarian? Martial sage and martial emperor level cultivation techniques and martial arts will naturally have some flaws. However, if your level is not high enough, you will definitely not be able to see through them. It's useless to talk about them. When you reach the level of a martial sage or martial emperor, your doubts today will be easily solved. The dragon's soul rolled its eyes at Fang Yu and said confidently. I think it's because you also just advanced to martial saint back then and didn't advance through the normal way, so you don't know much about these things. Fang Yu said with a chuckle. You. Nonsense. Slandering others. The dragon's soul was extremely anxious. With its rich experience, it had helped Fang Yu solve many big problems, but he still doubted it. Really, what could be tolerated? Pung. At the same time, Dai Meng's blood demon's body was continuously broken. This level 7 demonic beast, bloodthirsty demon wolf, had its eyes on Dai Meng. Why me and not Fang Yu? Dai Meng said angrily. If it was the beast tide, Fang Yu also had a part of the responsibility, right? Moreover, Fang Yu was the one who attacked first. Why should he deal with her? Why? Stupid woman, I'm close to Flame City. If I want to go back, I can go back at any time. Fang Yu said with a laugh. That's right, in terms of distance, the bloodthirsty demon wolf might not be able to catch Fang Yu before Fang Yu returned to the city. However, Dai Meng was different. Dai Meng's position was neither up nor down. In front of her was the bloodthirsty demon wolf, and behind her was the beast tide. No matter how one looked at it, only death awaited her. Only an idiot would not catch Dai Meng but Fang Yu. Hearing this, Dai Meng gritted her teeth, but there was nothing she could do. Chapter 222. Because after the bloodthirsty demon wolf had destroyed the blood demon's body time and time again, she did not have much energy left to revive the blood demon's body. That's right, just as Fang Yu and the rest thought, the blood demon's body was definitely not without its flaws. Its flaw was very big and even very obvious. It needed to constantly consume the practitioner's spiritual energy. If it was a light injury, Dai Meng only needed to use a bit of spiritual energy to restore the blood demon's body to its original state. But the bloodthirsty demon wolf was too strong. Each of its attacks could easily destroy the blood demon's body as it closed in on Dai Meng again and again. Dai Meng had no choice but to revive the blood demon's body again and again. Otherwise, she would have to rely on her original body to receive the bloodthirsty demon wolf's attack. Even if she had many powerful blood meridians, receiving a close-range attack from the bloodthirsty demon wolf would undoubtedly result in serious injuries. The consequences of being seriously injured in the beast tide could be imagined. Hence, Dai Meng was bitterly holding on. She's already in this state and she still wants to chase after Fang Yu. It can't be. On Flame City's city walls, there was no lack of insightful people. They could all see that Dai Meng was bitterly holding on because she was unwilling to give up on chasing after Fang Yu. Otherwise, with Dai Meng's strength, even if she did not retreat in one piece, the bloodthirsty demon wolf might not be able to stop her if she wanted to escape. But now, in order to kill Fang Yu, Dai Meng was persevering. This was simply touching the heavens and earth, all right? Dai Meng, are you crazy? In order to kill Fang Yu, taking such a risk, is it worth it? A woman who had met Dai Meng several times angrily said. Wasn't that right? As long as Fang Yu was still alive, there was no need to worry about a lack of firewood for revenge. But today, she was killed by the bloodthirsty demon wolf, and was sent out in order to save her life. This was a huge loss. She was one of the few people who could be considered friends with Dai Meng. Honestly speaking, she did not wish for Dai Meng to die here. But being eliminated was also not something they wanted to see. Because there were many mysteries in Dai Meng's previous life. Not only did the righteous faction want to recruit her, many evil faction people also had their eyes on her. If she could not join the 4 academies, Dai Meng's situation would be very dangerous. However, Dai Meng was extremely competitive. She would never allow her so-called friends to help her. That was why when Dai Meng lost to Fang Yu and left Flame City, she did not try to stop her. Other than the fact that Dai Meng left too quickly, this good friend was even more clear that Dai Meng didn't have a diamond and wouldn't take on a porcelain job. If she were to do this, she would definitely be able to survive outside of Flame City. She might even be able to take advantage of this opportunity to farm a wave of points. However, this scene was definitely not within Dai Meng's expectations. She dared to say that if this continued, it wouldn't be strange if Dai Meng died outside Flame City. So, give up on Fang Yu. Run. Where there's life, there's hope. I won't. Dai Meng was very stubborn, leaving her friends helpless. Unfortunately, her friend was only a 5-star martial Grand Master. Leaving the city now was no different from sending him to his death. Boom! After the blood demon body was once again destroyed by the bloodthirsty demon wolf, Dai Meng did not continue to revive it. This was because the current blood demon body had already weakened to a frightening degree. It was about to fall below the martial Grand Master level. If the blood demon body wasn't even at the martial Grand Master level, the bloodthirsty demon wolf's claws would probably be able to scratch her when it was destroyed. Such a blood demon body was meaningless. It was better to conserve some strength and avoid the bloodthirsty demon wolf's attacks. Seeing that Dai Meng still hadn't given up on killing him at this point, Fang Yu was speechless. He admitted that he had a grudge with Dai Meng, but it wasn't to the point where they had to kill each other, right? Big sister, you're about to die, yet you're still so persistent in killing me. Our grudge hasn't reached this stage yet. Fang Yu, why aren't you going back? Are you going to save her? The dragon's soul couldn't help but ask. It saw that Fang Yu was staring at Dai Meng. There was something wrong with his gaze. It was as if he was a hero saving a damsel in distress. It depends on the situation. Fang Yu shook his head. What? You can't be serious. You want to save this kind of woman? She wants to kill you. The dragon's soul said in astonishment. That's why it depends on the situation. Fang Yu replied. Oh, I understand now. So that's what you're planning. The dragon's soul suddenly said. What do you understand? Fang Yu asked. The reason you're saving her now is actually to buy horse bones. Even for an enemy like Dai Meng, you would save her life. Then what about your own people? You would definitely protect them even more seriously. The dragon's soul spoke with fervor and assurance. It felt like it could read Fang Yu's mind like a roundworm. It knew exactly what Fang Yu was thinking. Fang Yu was slightly speechless. Whatever the dragon's soul wanted to think, it could think whatever it wanted. Anyway, Dai Meng didn't necessarily need his help. Moreover, he could attack or retreat now. Even if something really happened, he could still retreat in time. Get lost from me. Realizing that the bloodthirsty demon wolf was like a maggot attached to the bone, unable to escape, Dai Meng was also anxious. She directly urged the bloodline power in her body to fight against the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Rumble! After a heavy blow from both sides, the one who was forced to retreat was Dai Meng. A 7th-level demon beast is too powerful. Let's not talk about how Dai Meng has yet to become a martial spirit. Even a martial spirit expert might not have much of an advantage against a 7th-level demon beast. Seeing this scene, everyone's hearts trembled in fear. There was originally a gap between demonic beasts and martial artists. It was very difficult for a martial artist of the same level to kill a demonic beast of the same level alone. Often, the martial artist would fail or even die. Now that Dai Meng had fought so many battles, she was probably an arrow at the end of its flight. It was unrealistic for her to fight with the bloodthirsty demon wolf like this. Dai Meng was already very strong for not exploding on the spot. At this moment, even someone as strong as Dai Meng knew the difference between her and the bloodthirsty demon wolf. She also wanted to retreat, but at this moment, the blood in her chest suddenly started to boil. Ugh! Not good. This was the aftereffect of continuously using high-intensity martial arts. Dai Meng had always been clear about this aftereffect, and she had also tried her best to suppress it. However, she really couldn't suppress it now. Her blood involuntarily churned. Seeing this, the bloodthirsty demon wolf moved quickly and wanted to slap Dai Meng to death. In its opinion, Dai Meng was also an extremely difficult opponent to deal with. If it could take advantage of her mistake and kill her, it would be a good thing. Swish! However, just as Dai Meng was about to be killed by the claw, a figure flashed past and took Dai Meng away. Roar! The bloodthirsty demon wolf's anger soared to the sky. The duck that was about to fly away, it would be a lie to say that it wasn't angry. This, Dai Meng was stunned. How could she say that she was even prepared to be killed? Now that she wasn't dead, what was going on? Are you all right? A male voice entered her ears, causing Dai Meng's eyes to widen. Chapter 223. Fang Yu, it's you. Dai Meng was shocked. She never thought that the one who saved her at the critical moment would be Fang Yu. It's me, Fang Yu said. Why did you save me? Dai Meng was furious. In her opinion, being saved by Fang Yu was the most humiliating thing in the world. She would rather die in the hands of the bloodthirsty fiend wolf. There's no reason why I saved you. It's because you and I are both candidates for this selection. That's all. Victory and defeat are victory and defeat, but life and death are life and death. I can't watch you die for my own selfish desires. Fang Yu said calmly. These were his heartfelt words. He was unhappy with Dai Meng and even hated her. However, watching this crazy woman die in front of everyone was not good. The dragon soul believed that it was fine to buy horse bones for thousands of years. Everything was fine. He would save people. However, this was the only time and not the next time. Dai Meng still wanted to say something, but Fang Yu had already let go of her. While Dai Meng was still in a daze, he had already used the dragon soaring technique to teleport to a corner of the beast tide. This was a gap. With Dai Meng's strength, it was not difficult to leave. Xiao! Leaving Dai Meng behind, Fang Yu directly returned to the city. He had attracted enough hatred from the bloodthirsty fiend wolf. If he did not take the opportunity to return to the city, would he wait for it to come to him? Roar! As expected, the bloodthirsty fiend wolf reacted and charged at Fang Yu. It did not choose to attack Fang Yu. It was definitely not because it thought that Fang Yu was stronger or anything, but because Fang Yu was too far away. Once it chose to chase after Fang Yu, it could only let Dai Meng go. In comparison, it chose Dai Meng who was at its fingertips. However, it did not know that Fang Yu did not directly return to the city, but turned around to save Dai Meng. This made it lose face. This kid must die. Fang Yu, run. Mo Ling's expression changed drastically, completely losing her previous calmness. Regardless of what had happened previously, Mo Ling was well aware of it, and had a card up his sleeve. However, this scene was definitely out of her expectations. A level 7 demonic beast took the initiative to chase after him, and even ordered the demonic beasts to attack. Even a real martial spirit would not be able to escape. Xiao! 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 Fang Yu's speed was very fast. He had raised his speed to the limit. It was shockingly fast. This Flame City's martial artists were shocked by Fang Yu's speed. Could a martial Grand Master be so fast? Open the formation and let Fang Yu in. Yaoguang Xiao Yu. No! Someone immediately stopped him. What if there are 7th level demonic beasts in the beast tide that take the opportunity to rush in? What should we do? Are you all taking our lives? Xiao! If the beast horde really breaks in, none of us will be able to survive. Don't joke with our lives. The voices of objection grew louder and louder, making Yao Guang anxious. There was no lack of experts among these people, and the forces behind them were not inferior to the Zhenbao building. This made Yao Guang's expression turn even uglier. Fang Yu's life is related to our life and death. Mo Ling stood out. Everyone looked at Mo Ling in confusion. What did she mean by that? What basis do you have for saying that? What does Fang Yu not being able to return have to do with us? Someone asked. Of course it has something to do with us. However, heaven's secrets cannot be revealed. I can only see this much. In the next crisis, Fang Yu was our savior. Without Fang Yu, none of us would have survived. Mo Ling said word by word. You're just spouting nonsense. Even without Fang Yu, we still have many experts. Why can't we survive? Someone sneered. That's right. Although Fang Yu was strong, they still had many experts who had not made a move. If they made a move together or joined forces, they would not be weaker than Fang Yu. Mo Ling was just trying to scare them. Is there anyone among you who can fight against 10? Is there anyone among you who dares to charge into the beast tide under such circumstances? Is there anyone among you who can save Dai Meng from the hands of a 7th-grade demonic beast at the critical moment? Even if Dai Meng is your enemy? Mo Ling questioned these people. These people could not answer her question. Some of the experts who had not made a move were also frowning. Because from what Mo Ling said, Fang Yu was indeed a very special person. This was indeed something that they couldn't compare to. Fang Yu is special. There is only one Fang Yu. The same goes for the future crisis. Also, do you think that with Fang Yu's strength, he can't enter once the array is activated? Just one person's position was enough. Even if there are demonic beasts, their numbers are limited. We can deal with them. Mo Ling looked at everyone. However, Fang Yu will owe you a favor. Although this is a little exaggerated, I can guarantee that when you need help in the future, Fang Yu will help you. Many people were moved by his words. Although it was dangerous to activate the array now, it was worth it to make Fang Yu owe them a favor. Moreover, it was just a matter of a few sentences. I agree with activating the array. I agree too. If there are demonic beasts, I will go and clean up the mess. The last sentence was said by Bai Wuxia. Open it. Mo Ling said to Kegu Air, who was hesitating. Kegu Air naturally supported Fang Yu. However, if they were to offend the world, these people would probably gang up on them. At that time, it would not be fun. Rumble. Seeing the array being activated, Fang Yu's eyes lit up. He had been clearing the demonic beasts near the entrance of Flame City, creating a vacuum. This was so that when the entrance appeared, he would be able to charge in and the demonic beasts would not be able to take advantage of it. However, there was a time limit to this, because the bloodthirsty demon wolf was coming. Ho! The demonic wolf roared. When the array was activated, Feng Yu decisively returned to the city. Boom! Following that, the array shook. This is the power of a grade 7 demonic beast. Everyone was shocked. This was just a normal attack from a grade 7 demonic beast, but it was actually so powerful. Feng Yu panted heavily, feeling a little scared. Just now, in order to stop Feng Yu, the bloodthirsty demon wolf had sent all the demonic beasts to attack him. Luckily, Feng Yu was able to handle it with ease and was not distracted by the demonic beast. Otherwise, even if the array was activated and the entrance appeared, Feng Yu would still be delayed. In that case, the grade 7 demonic beast's attack would have landed solidly on him. Luckily, I managed to return to the city at the last moment. Feng Yu thought with lingering fear. Chapter 224. Even if he could not return to the city in time, Feng Yu still had a way to deal with it, forcefully summoning the Void Rat to save his life. In order to accumulate strength to break through to the Demon King realm, the Void Rat had been sleeping. It would wake up occasionally and fall asleep again. However, Feng Yu could feel that its aura was getting stronger and stronger. If the bloodthirsty fiend wolf really wanted to fight to the death, Feng Yu could only use this trump card to deal with the bloodthirsty fiend wolf. Even if it would damage the Void Rat's vitality a little, he and the Void Rat were grasshoppers on the same rope. If he died, the Void Rat would not be able to live either. Damaging its vitality was better than dying. Fortunately, he managed to return successfully. Thank you for speaking up for justice. I, Feng Yu, will remember this favor. Feng Yu cupped his fists and said to the people on the city wall, You're welcome, you're welcome. We're all on the same side. It's only right. That's right. If Brother Feng needs help, we'll definitely help. Everyone said some polite words as if they didn't need money. Feng Yu did not take them seriously. How do you know that they spoke up for you? The dragon's soul asked curiously. It's very simple. I wasn't present, but Mo Ling, Feng Yaoguang, and the rest were. They'll remember it for me. Feng Yu said leisurely. Actually, it was not strange that there would be a dispute on the city wall. Or rather, it was expected. This was human nature. Furthermore, Feng Yu's performance was too outstanding. With Feng Yu around, they had one more competitor. No one wanted their road to rise to prominence to be too difficult. If they could get rid of Feng Yu legitimately, why not? However, Feng Yu did not care about these problems. He believed that Mo Ling would help him solve it. In the end, as Feng Yu expected, Mo Ling took action and settled everything. Why aren't you thanking me? If it wasn't for me speaking up for you with my silver tongue, would you be able to return here safely? Mo Ling said in a complacent manner. Scram! Feng Yu said bluntly. You heartless man, sob sob sob. Mo Ling pretended to cry, causing Feng Yu to roll his eyes. Are you okay? Feng Yaoguang asked with concern. I won't die. But if I really get hit by it, it's hard to say. Feng Yu. It's too risky to save Dai Meng. Feng Yaoguang. Even if she went up against Dai Meng, she would definitely not be able to last even one round. However, Dai Meng was an enemy. From the looks of it, he would not rest until Feng Yu was dead. Was there a need to save such a woman? Feng Yu didn't seem like a greedy and lecherous person. At the very least, he didn't show any of these signs with Mo Ling and him by his side. At that time, I wanted to save her. That was all. There were no complicated thoughts. Feng Yu shook his head, indicating that he really wasn't overthinking it. Feng Yaoguang sighed, but couldn't say anything more about Feng Yu. This is called doing a good deed. Don't ask about your future, Kaguang said with a smile. Although the barbarian race's cultivation is different from yours, we have one thing in common, and that is to follow our hearts. An expert like that is a true expert. Don't brag. Hey, Mayan is here. Mo Ling glanced at Kaguang and said in surprise. What? Where? Hearing this, Kagwang wanted to hide. He was really afraid of Mayan. After all, he couldn't defeat Mayan, hee. I'm just kidding. Mo Ling said with a smile. Kagwang's face darkened. If not for the fact that he couldn't defeat Mo Ling, he would definitely teach her a lesson. Mayan is here. Feng Yaoguang suddenly said. Don't think I'll fall for the same trick twice. Kager cursed and replied unhappily. This time, it's true. Mayan is really here. Feng Yaoguang said anxiously. She knew that Kagwang didn't like to interact with Mayan, so she reminded him. Why didn't he believe her? Kagwang snorted again. Just as he was about to say something, Mei An's voice rang in his ears. Oh? So what if I'm here? Kagwang's body stiffened when he heard this, but it was too late for him to leave. This was because Mayan had already placed her hand on his shoulder. In fact, Mayan was not as tall as Kagwang. However, at this moment, Kagwang was like a little kitten, not daring to move at all. Miss Mayan, you must have some good news for me to come here now, right? Fang Yu asked with a smile. Oh? How do you know it's good news? Mayan said with a hint of surprise. She had indeed come with good news. With Miss Mei An's personality, I don't think you're here to ask if I'm all right. Since that's the case, it must be good news. Fang Yu said with a smile. It's indeed good news. Mayan didn't deny it and went straight to the point. After entering Flame City, we received news about the Saint Ruins. Fang Yu's eyes lit up. This matter was related to his mission, so he was especially concerned about it. It's confirmed that the Saint Ruins is in the core area, Mayan said. The core area? The core area that will only be opened 7 days later? Feng Yaoguang was shocked. Yes. Actually, this news is expected. Mayan said slowly, the Azure Dragon Mirror has its own consciousness. It knows what kind of treasure the Saint Ruins that it swallowed by chance is. Or rather, the Azure Dragon Mirror is playing a game with us. A game? Fang Yu was stunned. Don't you think so? I think you should know this better than me. Mayan said with a smile. Fang Yu was speechless. This was because this was the truth. In the Azure Dragon Mirror's eyes, the second round was just a game. It only wanted to be happy. The Azure Dragon Mirror didn't care about anything else. In comparison, the heart-refining forest is much cuter. Fang Yu couldn't help but think. Although the heart-refining forest touched on Fang Yu's core secret, he was a person who had been reborn. Furthermore, he wasn't a native of the Myriad Spirit continent. Instead, he came from some unknown corner of the profound sky world. However, the heart-refining forest didn't care. It only hoped that one day, when Fang Yu could break through the sky, he would take it with him. As for the Azure Dragon Mirror, Fang Yu didn't know what it was thinking. Even the Azure Dragon Institute didn't know what this treasure of theirs was thinking. Being targeted by the Azure Dragon Mirror isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. It's probably more likely that it's a good thing. Mayan pondered for a while and said, for example, when you were chased by the bloodthirsty demon wolf and couldn't make it back in time, I think the Azure Dragon Mirror would have acted in time to save your life. Fang Yu didn't deny this. He felt that the Azure Dragon Mirror's attention was both a good and bad thing. Fortune and misfortune came together. Chapter 225. Let's take it one step at a time. With this thought in mind, Fang Yu asked again, then, you mean? We're still competitors, but neither you nor I can swallow the saint's remains. We don't have that big of an appetite. Mayan shook her head and added, it's hard to say, at least for now. Yes. Fang Yu didn't deny it. They weren't even martial spirits yet, so it was too early to talk about this. At most, they could make some preparations in advance. That was all. After that, Mayan revealed some unverified information and then took his leave. I made the right choice to go with you, Brother Fang. Kager suddenly sighed. Why do you say that? Fang Yu asked. It's very simple. She never cooperates with weaklings. She was willing to take the initiative to reveal the information, and even said some things that she wasn't sure about. This proves that she recognizes you as her business partner. This is very rare. Kager clicked his tongue in wonder. If it weren't for her loyalty to the barbarian tribe and her bloodline, she wouldn't marry an outsider. Maybe she would change her marriage partner to you, Brother Fang. The corner of Fang Yu's mouth twitched when he heard that. What did Kager mean? Was he cuckolding himself? Did he have to be so ruthless? Seeing Fang Yu and the others' strange expressions, Kager laughed and said, Brother Fang, don't be nervous. I just said it casually. Even if I don't like Mayan, she's still my marriage partner. I'm still a normal man. Hearing this, Fang Yu and the others' strange expressions faded away. Mayan is a very responsible woman. Kager, if you want to revitalize the barbarian tribe, it's a good thing to marry her. Fang Yu said honestly. Mayan was a very good leader and was very suitable to lead a team. Although they didn't have a conflict, they were all tough people. It was not the right time to join forces. It would be harmful. Brother, I'm marrying into her family. It's also very difficult for me. Kager said bitterly. That's right, Kager was a descendant of the barbarian tribe's royal family. How could he marry into her family? It was more likely that Mayan would marry him. However, Kager also knew that this was unlikely. Mayan's family had lost too many men in the previous war, and the direct line of descent had withered. They urgently needed to replenish their blood, so they were looking for a powerful family for marriage. Kager was powerful and didn't have many complicated thoughts. Mayan had taken a liking to him and agreed to the marriage. Even though Kager Heir's elder brother was strong and had an extraordinary bloodline, they were overthinking things. Mayan's family might even be annexed by them, and the gains would not make up for the losses. Fang Yu. A female voice entered their ears. Fang Yu and the others turned their heads to look. It was Lu Xingzhan who came. Oh, it's you. Fang Yu was a little surprised that Lu Xingzhan had come. Lu Xingzhan took a deep breath and said, I have something to tell you. To only you. Lu Xingzhan paused for a moment before continuing. All right. Fang Yu signaled Kager and the others to leave first. I didn't expect them to have completely submitted to you, Lu Xingzhan smiled bitterly. Putting Feng Yaoguang aside, Mo Ling and Kager weren't ordinary people. Getting them to listen to him was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, when Fang Yu was in danger earlier, the various things that each and every one of them had displayed showed that they had already submitted to Fang Yu. The word submit isn't right. It's better to say that they submitted to my charm. Fang Yu chuckled as he replied. Charm? Lu Xingzhan's mouth twitched. She took a deep breath and said, I'm here to admit defeat. Admit defeat? Fang Yu was stunned. His agreement with Lu Xingzhan was that they would decide the victor 3 days later based on their accumulated points. Even though Fang Yu had obtained over 1,300 points today, Lu Xingzhan's team wasn't weak. It wasn't impossible for them to catch up. But now, she had actually admitted defeat. Was this for real? I admit defeat. I'm not as strong as you. Even though they aren't weak, with me leading them, they won't be able to surpass you. Lu Xingzhan said frankly, since that's the case, there's no need to waste your energy. You can lead the team. Fang Yu was speechless. You can do this? Just this? Let me think about it. Fang Yu wanted to calm down. He had already thought of a way to deal with this. Now that Lu Xingzhan had admitted defeat, he was caught unprepared. Seeing this, Lu Xingzhan smiled. It was rare for Fang Yu to have such a side to him. She didn't know what Fang Yu was like in the past, but after knowing Fang Yu, he had repeatedly created miracles. Losing to him wasn't an injustice. What's wrong? Seeing Fang Yu return dejectedly, Mo Ling asked curiously. Lu Xingzhan admitted defeat. Tomorrow we might have to bring Lu Xingzhan and the others along. Fang Yu said. This. Why did she admit defeat? Mo Ling was shocked. But it's good. With them, our trip will be much safer. Getting more points is a problem. Before the core area is unsealed, there will be a trade fair or auction. We need a lot of points or inner cores of demonic beasts. Plus by Wuxia there are 9 of us. It's going to be tough. Fang Yu felt a headache coming on. Then, an idea came to his mind. What do you think about encircling the bloodthirsty demon wolves? Encircling the bloodthirsty demon wolves? Mo Ling's eyes widened. Was Fang Yu joking? He had just escaped from the claws of the bloodthirsty demon wolves. Now, he wanted to find them again. Wasn't he too daring? I think it's feasible. Kegu Air expressed his opinion. I was born in the barbarian tribe. There are countless demonic beasts in the barbarian tribe's grassland. Moreover, they can reproduce and survive generation after generation. I'm not unfamiliar with situations similar to the demonic beast tide. Being able to control them doesn't necessarily mean that they have the ability to do so. It's also possible that an external force has given them some power. In the barbarian tribe's grassland, there are some places where a kind of earthwood pearl is born. It will emit an aura of the earth and grassland. The demonic beasts living in that area are extremely dependent on it. If we can obtain the earthwood pearl, we can mobilize the demonic beasts in that area for a short period of time. I think the bloodthirsty demon wolves might have been given this power by the Azure Dragon Mirror. Kegu Air said seriously. I didn't expect you to be so reliable sometimes. Mo Ling was surprised that Kegu Air was so serious. Kegu Air ignored her. Did this woman really think that he was a hoodlum? If that's the case, as long as we can find the bloodthirsty demon wolves' den, it's not impossible to encircle it. Moreover, the bloodthirsty demon wolves must have their own underlings. It's not a dream for us to take this opportunity to gain points. Fang Yu said thoughtfully. Chapter 226. Encircle and annihilate a level 7 demonic beast. Feng Yaoguang's face turned pale. Fang Yu really dared to do it. This place was different from the outside world. Outside, even if they didn't have enough ability, they could still ask for the help of their family's consecrators. Encircling and annihilating a level 7 demonic beast was difficult but not impossible. However, in the Azure Dragon Mirror, their ability and resources were very limited. Encircling and annihilating a level 7 demonic beast. Was it really possible? Even if they succeeded, they would have to pay a huge price. Pa! Before Feng Yaoguang could finish her thought, Fang Yu had already flicked his finger and landed on her forehead. Ouch! Feng Yaoguang cried out in pain. It was really painful. Do you know what the biggest difference between you and me is? Fang Yu asked. What is it? Feng Yaoguang asked subconsciously. You're overcautious and thinking too much. A cultivator should move forward courageously. Fang Yu said leisurely. Moreover, it's just a level 7 demonic beast. If we can't encircle and annihilate it, others can't either. That's reasonable. Kegu nodded repeatedly. It had to be said that their lineup could be said to be a combination of the strong. Although they might not be the strongest, at the last moment there were a lot of famous people who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. For example, Mayan. Mayan was really strong. Kegu didn't have much confidence in winning against her. However, aside from these monster-level contestants, the rest of the contestants would be nothing but food if they encountered their team. Then, let's set off tomorrow morning. After Fang Yu finished speaking, he immediately went to rest. He wasn't a robot. After going through so many battles, it was impossible for him not to be tired. However, the feeling of fighting and slaughtering was really carefree. Fang Yu could feel that he could vaguely feel the martial spirit realm. In time, he would be able to reach the heavens in one step. Although in reality, half-step perfect was higher than reaching the heavens in one step. Although he couldn't break into the martial spirit realm in one go, he could more or less increase his combat strength. However, Feng Yu didn't think so. He vaguely felt that his choice to reach the heavens in one step was the best choice. The night passed in silence. The next day, when Lu Shuzhan brought people to meet up with Feng Yu, many martial artists were dumbfounded. They want to join forces? I remember that they were also a small team that occupied an array tower. They are so strong. What should we do? It's not necessarily a good thing. There are too many experts. No one is willing to submit to another. It's not necessarily a good thing. Everyone was talking about it. Feng Yu didn't care. He stretched out his hand towards Lu Qing and said, "Welcome to Feng Yu's team." Lu Shuzhan was just about to extend his hand when Lu Tianbing grabbed it first and said, "There's no need for pleasantries. Just tell me the plan. Our top priority now is to take advantage of the auctions and trade fairs when the Forbidden Zone is lifted to increase our combat strength. As the captain, you should be considerate of us." Lu Tianbing was overbearing and not polite at all. Feng Yu smiled helplessly and said, "Of course. My next plan is very simple, which is to encircle and annihilate the 7th-grade bloodthirsty demon wolf." What? When these words came out, everyone turned pale with fright, including some people who were watching the show. Feng Yu didn't seem to be afraid of them knowing the plan and continued, "We have a lot of people. If we want to increase our points, it will be very difficult. But hunting the 7th-grade bloodthirsty demon beast will satisfy our requirement. First of all, the 7th-grade bloodthirsty demon beast has a lot of subordinate. Moreover, there should be some treasures in its nest. As long as we do this, we can eat our fill." Hearing this, these people all had strange expressions. Feng Yu said it easily. But when it came to doing it, it was not like this. Who didn't know that hunting the 7th-grade bloodthirsty demon beast gave a lot of points and a lot of rewards? The premise was that they could really do this. He's really not afraid of the wind spraining his tongue. Just don't go and never come back. I see that the girls in his team are quite beautiful. What a pity. Last night, the bloodthirsty demon wolf didn't kill him. He actually took the initiative to send it. Really? Everyone didn't think highly of Feng Yu. Even if Feng Yu had created a few miracles, 1 against 10, forcing Dai Meng to retreating from the bloodthirsty demon beast tide, saving the damsel in distress, etc. But to challenge a 7th-grade bloodthirsty demon beast on the second day of the semifinals was too arrogant and too dangerous. What? If you're not convinced, then let's fight, Feng Yu said directly to the group of people. Their faces immediately turned ugly. Who would have thought that Feng Yu would suddenly make things difficult for them? Pung! 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 Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew, and the group of people was sent flying several zhang away. Bai Wuxia. Seeing that it was Bai Wuxia who attacked, many of the martial artists took half a step back. Bai Wuxia was also a famous martial artist. Whether it was him or the white-robed general. Feng Yu, is this the end of the bet? Bai Wuxia asked coldly. Feng Yu nodded. He knew that Bai Wuxia had been watching them. I thought I would be able to see a good show. Bai Wuxia laughed lightly. Wasn't yesterday's good show enough? Or do you think you can defeat Dai Meng? Feng Yu said calmly, causing Bai Wuxia's face to stiffen. He really was no match for Dai Meng. Dai Meng's fighting style was too simple and crude. Bai Wuxia was completely restrained. There was no way he could win. You just happened to restrain her, Bai Wuxia said guiltily. All right. Whether I restrain her or not, let's not talk about this nonsense. Since we're a team, we're on the same side. If they don't believe that we can kill a 7th-grade bloodthirsty demon wolf, I'll just chop off its head and show them, Feng Yu said casually. Bai Wuxia pursed his lips. But in his heart, he actually believed him a little. After all, Feng Yu was a person who had always created miracles. At the same time, in the highest part of the sky, a snow-white pearl was trembling slightly. It was white at times and then black at other times. The dragon-shaped white pearl seemed to be in extreme pain, but there was nothing it could do. A series of black threads suddenly emerged from the white pearl, and a mocking laughter could be heard. I didn't expect that after waiting for so many years, the time has finally come. What's the saying of the human race? Moistening things silently? How interesting! If not for this, I would have been killed back then. Who would have thought that after so many years, not only did I not die, I even gradually ate away at this toy. Azure Dragon Academy, first generation principal. Back then, I almost died for real. This debt, I will make you pay with interest. This is just a little bit of interest. As it spoke, a trace of black energy separated from the pearl and floated down. Looking at the direction, it seemed to be coming from a large demonic beast nest. Chapter 227. Roar! The bloodthirsty demon wolf lay in its lair and recalled what happened last night. The more it thought about it, the angrier it became. It was a powerful 7th-level demon beast. And the result? It could still be played by Feng Yu. No one would believe such a thing even if he told them about it. It had even let Feng Yu escape under the watchful eyes of everyone. In the end, it could only be infuriated. This grudge, it had to take revenge. However, it was no longer an ordinary demon beast. It was very clear that during the day, Feng Yu would leave Flame City and head to other regions. At that time, it would be impossible for it to cross the region to attack Feng Yu. It was afraid that not only would it not catch him, but it would also lose itself. Apart from that, attacking Flame City now was also not a good idea. During the day, it did not have the power to summon as it did at night. These demon beasts would not be able to respond to its call. After all, this was the power of the Azure Dragon Mirror. Although it had some of its own loyal followers, compared to the mighty flood of demon beasts, it was still far from enough. There were quite a few martial artists gathered in Flame City. If it rashly went, it would be no different from delivering food. Thus, the more it thought about it, the more unhappy it became. At this moment, a trace of undetectable black light fell. It happened to look up, but the black light quickly merged into its forehead. The black light was like a stone that fell into the water, causing ripples. Roar! The bloodthirsty demon wolf's expression became painful as its eyes constantly changed. Sometimes it was shocked and angry, and sometimes it was absolutely cold and evil. This is probably the bloodthirsty demon wolf's lair. Feng Yu stood on a rock and looked at the forest in front of him. Oh? How do you know? Feng Yaoguang asked. This forest is the largest in this area, and it even emits the aura of a 4th or 5th level demon beast. It can only be that this place is the territory of the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Feng Yu smiled and said, a martial spirit level demon beast might not be much to some seniors, but in this place it's not the core area. It's enough to be the master of a region. Moreover, on the second day of the second round, there shouldn't be too many precedents of challenging a martial spirit demon beast. Feng Yu said with a smile. That's true, but I suggest we be careful. The bloodthirsty fiend wolf is able to become the master of a region, so it definitely has some power. We shouldn't pay too high of a price just to defeat it, Lu Xinjian said. She admitted that Feng Yu was stronger than her. However, it was a fact that Feng Yu's way of doing things wasn't reliable enough. It was the truth. Feng Yu did not deny this. This was his style of doing things. Every time Lu Xinjian brought it up, he would reject it. So much trouble. He might as well admit it openly. Feng Yu's direct admission was unexpected to Lu Xinjian. She did not dwell on this matter. Instead, she expressed her own opinion. It is impossible for a Class 7 demonic beast to have Class 7 demonic beasts as subordinates. Therefore, its subordinates should only be martial grandmaster demonic beasts. For us, killing martial grandmaster demonic beasts outside the beast tide is a piece of cake. Yes. No one objected to this because it was the truth. Fang Yu did not mind Lu Shuzhan's suggestion. Let's go find the martial grandmaster demonic beasts and kill them one by one. For us, the only ones that are a real threat are martial grandmaster demonic beasts and above. As for the rest, their strength is limited, so they are not important. So, after we kill the martial grandmaster demonic beasts one by one, with the strength of the 9 of us, killing the bloodthirsty fiend wolf won't be a problem. Lu Shuzhan said seriously. Who would have thought that your authority would be taken away on the first day you became the team leader? Bai Wuxia walked over with a smile. He did not care who he teamed up with. He only wanted to defeat Fang Yu. However, after last night, Bai Wuxia was clear that Fang Yu was not an opponent he could easily defeat. He decided to follow Fang Yu and see if there were any flaws in his plan. Then, he would destroy him in one fell swoop. That's not a problem. She's willing to take on a part of my responsibilities. I can't ask for anything more. Fang Yu pursed his lips and said. But deciding on a grade 7 demonic beast doesn't seem like your style. Bai Wuxia was a little confused. With your strength, killing a bunch of martial grandmaster demonic beasts is not difficult at all. There's not much meaning in focusing on grade 7 demonic beasts. Isn't it because of you guys? Fang Yu said unhappily. Although we're teaming up and have our own goals, we're all on the same boat now. As the leader, I have to fulfill my responsibilities more or less. I can't just wash my hands off and not care about anything, right? Even if he really did that, they could not say anything about him. Perhaps it was because he was the leader of the alliance in his previous life, but in the end, he didn't fulfill his responsibilities as a leader and lead everyone to counterattack and win the final battle. Sometimes, he subconsciously wanted to make up for it. It's good that you have an idea. Bai Wuxia nodded and did not pursue the matter. He and Fang Yu were not long-winded people. Half a day passed quickly. In this half a day, they had killed as many mid-grade demonic beasts as they could count on 2 hands. This bloodthirsty demon wolf is really something. It has as many martial grandmaster subordinates as it can count on 2 hands. If we hadn't killed them one by one and got entangled with them before the bloodthirsty demon wolf attacked, I'm afraid this trip would have been over. Bai Wuxia clicked his tongue in wonder. That's right. Although the strength of their 9-man team was not bad, if they had really fallen into the bloodthirsty demon wolf's encirclement, losing 1 or 2 of them would have been the best outcome. If they had been even a little bit worse, it was not impossible for the entire team to be wiped out. Don't kill these low-grade demonic beasts. Strange, so many important subordinates have died. Why hasn't the bloodthirsty demon wolf made any move? Fang Yu muttered to himself. Grade 7 demonic beast's perception was even stronger than ordinary martial spirit. That was because they often had a wild beast's intuition. This was a kind of ability that was sometimes even superior to spiritual sense. Needless to say, martial spirit demonic beasts also had spiritual sense. With the combination of the two, it was possible to treat the deaths of 1 or 2 mid-grade demonic beasts as a sign that they had temporarily left the area. But now it was impossible that they had not noticed the change in the situation. Since that was the case, what was the reason? Let's go. Let's go take a look. Fang Yu took a deep breath and said, since we're already here, and we've already killed its right-hand men, if we leave now, it will definitely seek revenge. In that case, why don't we go find it and kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf first? Fang Yu's words were not wrong, and no one had any reason to refute them. The group gradually went deeper into the heart of the forest. At the same time, a figure with red and black eyes stood up. Chapter 228. Fang Yu and the rest slowly approached the nest. Along the way, the silence made them feel uneasy. What's going on? Why aren't there any demonic beasts guarding the road? Mo Ling clicked her tongue in wonder. To the leader of a territory, it was the emperor of that territory. As an emperor, it was abnormal for there to be no officials to serve it. Unless there were special circumstances, there was no other way. But before they came, this forest was operating normally. Then, the demonic beasts here were nowhere to be seen. This was too strange. Something's not right. Suddenly, Fang Yu stopped in his tracks. What's wrong? Before Lu Shuzhan could finish his question, his face was filled with shock. Because there was a demonic beast's corpse lying in front of them. But it was different from normal corpses. This demonic beast's corpse was actually a dried corpse. Dried corpse? What sucked it dry? That's not right. We're not demonic cultivators who practice martial arts or techniques. Feng Yaoguang frowned. Although those who practiced blood-related cultivation methods and martial arts might not necessarily be evil cultivators, in fact, most of these people were evil cultivators. This was a fact that couldn't be changed. Of course, there was no lack of demonic beasts like this. But most of them lived in caves or deep forests. The sunlight in this forest was just right. To say that there was such a demonic beast was not very likely. Roar! A roar pulled everyone's attention back to reality. It's a bloodthirsty demon wolf. Why does it look like this? They recognized that it was a bloodthirsty demon wolf. After seeing its true appearance, everyone's expression changed. Because in just one night, the bloodthirsty demon wolf's fur was standing on end. Its eyes were glowing red and black, and traces of black chi could be seen lingering around its body. It was a living demonic beast. What happened? Everyone's eyelids twitched. Because this bloodthirsty demon wolf was no longer the 7th-grade demonic beast from last night. Now it was actually an 8th-grade demonic beast. 8th-grade demonic beast, this is not good, Bai Wuxia said in a low voice. A level 8 demonic beast was equivalent to a martial spirit of 4 stars or above. If it was only a level 7 monstrous beast, a 1-star to 3-star martial spirits, although it would be difficult for the 9 of them to join forces, it would not be a problem. Even if they didn't say it out loud, they all knew what was going on. However, it was different for Class 8 monsters. Level 8 demonic beasts were extremely powerful and terrifying. Even if they could deal with them now, it would be extremely difficult. If they had known from the beginning that the bloodthirsty demon wolf was already an 8th-grade monster beast, they probably wouldn't have thought of encircling it. There's no turning back. Let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, we'll leave. Fang Yu was decisive. He was bold, but he wasn't really crazy. If he really couldn't win, could he still force it? Forcefully annihilated. Alright. Fang Yu's suggestion was pertinent, and they had no reason to object. Following that, martial arts and treasures flew towards the bloodthirsty demon wolf, one after another. Falling star fist. Mountain-shaking iron arms. Bell of thought. Rumble. These attacks landed on the surface of the bloodthirsty demon wolf, causing the ground to tremble slightly. However, the bloodthirsty demon wolf remained motionless. It was clear at a glance who was better and who was worse. Everyone's expression changed. So many attacks were focused on the bloodthirsty demon wolf, but there was no effect at all? This was too much of a blow to them. Let's go. Fang Yu didn't say anything else and was about to retreat. Now that things had come to this, retreating was definitely the best way. Alright. Everyone followed Fang Yu and turned to leave. This was simply bad luck. This bloodthirsty demon wolf had actually advanced without anyone noticing. Fortunately, Fang Yu didn't act rashly this time. Otherwise, they would really have to leave 1 or 2 of them here. Dragon Soul, what do you think? Fang Yu asked the Dragon Soul. Don't you feel that its aura is very familiar? The Dragon Soul nodded. Isn't this the F***king stench of evil spirits? The smell of evil spirits gave people a very uncomfortable feeling. If it was light, they would feel nauseous and want to vomit. If it was heavy, they wouldn't be able to adapt to the circulation of their spiritual energy. Of course, there were very few martial artists who could really distinguish the aura of evil spirit. The dragon soul and Fang Yu had close contact with evil spirit. Naturally, they could recognize it at once. Although He Ping and Feng Yaoguang were possessed, it could be seen that they still didn't have any ability to resist evil spirit. However, the dragon soul and Fang Yu could instantly determine that this was the aura of evil spirits. It's indeed the aura of evil spirits, but it's not that strong. Are they possessed by evil spirits? Fang Yu said. At that time, it was the same for He Ping and Feng Yaoguang. When it was controlling He Ping and Feng Yaoguang, it could still split off a part of itself to chase after Fang Yu. It was indeed terrifying and powerful. It should be. Damn it, why is there an evil spirit here? The dragon soul couldn't help but curse. Actually, it's not strange. Fang Yu said. Why isn't it strange? The dragon soul asked. Think about it, Azure Dragon Academy seems to have a place to deal with evil spirits. What does this mean? It's not their first time dealing with evil spirits. In fact, the grudges between them and the demons have been going on for a long time. Since that's the case, it's not too strange for Azure Dragon Mirror to be corrupted by evil spirits. After being explained by Fang Yu, the dragon soul fell into deep thought. That seemed to be the case. Then what should we do now? The dragon soul asked in a daze. Fang Yu rolled his eyes at it. I wanted to ask you what to do, but you asked me first. If it's me, it's best not to face it head-on. I've already felt it before. Why is Azure Dragon Mirror staring at me? Isn't it strange? Sure enough, there's an element of evil spirits here. If Azure Dragon Mirror has been corrupted by evil spirits, wouldn't you be in danger no matter what? The dragon soul was shocked. Now that Fang Yu was its master, although it wouldn't follow him through life and death like the void rat, it would definitely be a blessing in disguise. If Fang Yu were to die, it would also be in danger. Let's go first. Hopefully, the inspectors will be able to find some clues here. Fang Yu placed his hope on the inspectors. In fact, if they were to fight, Fang Yu wouldn't be afraid of it. The problem was that if this kind of battle was to happen again and again, Fang Yu wouldn't dare to say that he would be able to escape unscathed every time. Therefore, it would be best for Azure Dragon Academy to find out the problem and send the higher-ups to deal with it. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. At the same time, the scene that the inspectors saw was different from what Fang Yu and the rest were experiencing. What was shown on the screen was Fang Yu and the rest hunting a level 3 demonic beast. Chapter 229. I didn't expect them to be so daring and meticulous after forming a team. Looking at the screen, some inspectors nodded in satisfaction. Fang Yu's rise as a dark horse was undoubtedly a good thing for the Azure Dragon Institute. However, Fang Yu was too impulsive. There were often some reckless decisions that gave them headache. Even if Fang Yu managed to avert danger every time, it didn't change their view on this matter. Now that Lu Xinjian had joined, Fang Yu's team was much more cautious. Wasn't that right? Now that they were clearing out mid-level beasts step by step and approaching the level 7 bloodthirsty demon wolf, it wasn't a good plan. Did you guys notice that their movements seemed to be? Someone noticed that something was wrong with the screen. Fang Yu's actions were a bit slow. It was as if they were deliberately slowed down. I don't think so. The other inspectors took a closer look and felt that their movements were indeed a bit slow. However, they couldn't say that something was wrong. After all, these screens were projected by the Azure Dragon Mirror. If there was a problem, the Azure Dragon Mirror should be the first to notice and warn them. Therefore, they took a few more looks and stopped paying attention. Even though Fang Yu's team was worth looking forward to, there were many martial artists participating in the selection. It was impossible for them to pay attention to all of them. Fang Yu, it's still chasing after us. Feng Yaoguang was anxious. Who would have thought that the level 7 beast from last night would be level 8 now? If they had known earlier, they would have considered giving up on this mission. No. It's not chasing after us, it's purposely baiting us. Lu Shenzhan saw more and frowned. This level 8 beast was following them casually. However, once they tried to escape, it would immediately chase after them, not giving them a chance to escape. Bai Wuxie, Lu Tianbing, Wang Zhong, Kager, He Ping. Fang Yu said in a deep voice, after 3 breaths, "We'll turn around and kill it." Kill it? The killing intent in Fang Yu's words made them shudder. Also, did Fang Yu really decide to kill a Class 8 monster beast? This was equivalent to a martial spirit expert. Kill. The killing intent in Fang Yu's tone did not diminish. This level 8 demonic beast was already going to fight them to the death. Don't even think about covering it up, it's basically impossible. The only thing they could do was to kill him. Otherwise, they might have to stay here forever. Even if they won't be completely annihilated, I'm afraid they won't rest until 1 or 2 of them die. Fang Yu knew very well that some enemies could only be killed. There was no such thing as mercy. If you don't want to die, then fight. If he won, he wouldn't have to die. If he lost, he would be buried here. Go. Bai Wuxie and the others were also affected by Fang Yu's battle intent. Turning around, they charged at the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Mo Ling, Feng Yaoguang, Lu Shenzhan, and a few others who might be slightly weaker in a head-on battle did not make a move and stayed behind to provide support. Kiki. The bloodthirsty demon wolf laughed strangely and said in a cryptic voice, "I thought you guys were going to run away by myself. I wanted to play a game of cat and mouse, no fun." Hearing that, everyone's faces changed. Speaking the human language was actually a kind of symbol. It was a sign that one's intelligence had reached a certain level. The bloodthirsty demon wolf was definitely not this powerful and terrifying last night. In just one night, not only did it become a Class 8 demonic beast, it could even speak human language? That was simply terrifying. This bastard can't be left alive. Fang Yu shouted. Today we must deal with it here. That's right, this bloodthirsty demon wolf's hatred for them was so deep that it could be said that it was a blood feud. If they did not deal with this problem today, they could forget about getting any benefits in the second round. Everyone understood this logic and nodded. Haha, Fang Yu, you're really an interesting guy. No matter where you go, you'll encounter all kinds of things. Bai Wuxie laughed. I don't want to. I can only blame myself for being too outstanding. Demonic beasts can't bear to see me grow. Fang Yu sighed. Stop talking nonsense, let's kill. He Ping took the lead. Rumble. Rolling fist intent was released from He Ping's body, causing everyone to be shocked. Wasn't it because He Ping's fist intent was a little too strong? This kind of endless fist intent was simply shocking. And she was not even a martial spirit yet. As expected of a martial ancestor's direct disciple, Wang Zhong's expression was solemn. He Ping, Fang Yu, and the others were teammates, but in the final round, they would still be opponents. Therefore, there was no harm in paying attention to these potential opponents now. Primordial Divine Fist, Mountain Splitter. He Ping didn't hold anything back. She used her trump card right from the start. This is the Fist Saint Sect's signature martial art. Lu Shenzhan narrowed his eyes and said, "It is said that they only accept one successor in this generation. Furthermore, every successor would have to create their own martial arts. Now that the martial art has reached the 9th form, what He Ping wants to do is to create the 10th form." The 10th form? Isn't that difficult? Feng Yaoguang was shocked. 9 was the number of extremes. Although it was not said that 9 was the limit, there was a saying in martial arts. In short, He Ping wanted to create the 10th form. Not only did it have to include the first 9 forms, but it also had to have its own characteristics and style. One must know that creating a martial art was not an easy task. Many martial artists had spent their entire lives and still could not create their own martial art. It must be very stressful to carry such a burden all day long. No wonder she lost her mind and was possessed by the demon. Mo Ling said with a smile. Aren't you under a lot of pressure too? Your senior sister was praised by the Azure Dragon School's elders. If she enters the 4 schools, she might become one of the 3 heroes. Lu Xinjian said unexpectedly. Mo Ling's senior sister was already a martial spirit, and it was not as simple as 1 or 2 stars. This meant that her talent was indeed outstanding and terrifying. If Lu Xinjian had to choose a person to compare her to, it would probably be the 3 heroes. You don't have to worry about this. I'll just follow Feng Yu. If I follow Feng Yu, I'll have a good life. I don't believe that I can't win against my senior sister. Mo Ling said indifferently. Anyway, she had already thought about this and had already thought about it. There was nothing to say. Mo Ling's straightforwardness had caused Lu Qing to be at a loss for words. But you can't follow Feng Yu forever, right? Feng Yaoguang suddenly said. In terms of how long they had known each other, she knew Feng Yu first, okay? Also, no discord, no concord. Why did Mo Ling interfere? Chapter 230. Sensing the jealousy in Feng Yaoguang's tone, Mo Ling laughed. Why? Are you unhappy? You and Feng Yu are just partners, right? Actually, these questions were old news. They had talked about it many times. But now they were still talking about it. This could only mean one thing. Feng Yaoguang was not as indifferent as she looked. Then things would get interesting. What does that have to do with you? Feng Yaoguang said coldly. Yes, under normal circumstances, it's impossible for me to follow Feng Yu forever. Mo Ling paused. Mo Ling paused for a moment before continuing, however, as long as I become Feng Yu's woman, it doesn't seem like a big deal to be with him for the rest of my life, right? Feng Yaoguang was speechless. She could not refute Mo Ling's ridiculous reasoning. I'm just speaking the truth. Although I can't say that I'm going to fight to the death with my senior sister, surpassing her will be my small goal for the next 10 years. If I can't do it, it'll be 100 years, or even a lifetime. Anyway, it doesn't matter to me. At most, I'll just marry a good man and use his strength to surpass her. From the looks of it, Feng Yu is pretty good, right? Mo Ling said with a serious expression. He was already so loyal to his friends and collaborators. Of course, he would treat his own woman better. In that case, marrying him is not a bad choice. When Mo Ling spoke to her, she didn't bother to conceal her voice. Even Keigu and the others could hear her clearly. This made Keiger look envious. Brother Feng, you're really lucky. You still dare to talk nonsense? Survive first. Feng Yu said unhappily. Did these people think that they would definitely win against a Class 8 demonic beast? Naive. The consequence of being naive was often death. They were all people who valued their lives. They probably did not want to stay here. Then, kill. Hearing this, Wang Zhong, Bai Wuxie, and Keiger did not hold back. They all used their trump cards. Wang Zhong was born with a bell in his mind. This was his natal artifact and also his strongest killing move. But this move had obvious repercussions. If the summoned clock was damaged, the person himself would also be injured. Buzz, the bell slammed into the bloodthirsty fiend wolf, forcing it to retreat. Just as his face darkened and he was about to destroy Wang Zhong's bell, Keiger arrived. Move aside, it's my turn to act tough. Keiger suddenly transformed into a barbarian giant and began to fight with the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Bang! 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 His fists struck flesh, causing the bloodthirsty demon wolf to feel dizzy. It didn't expect that this barbarian, who looked like an ordinary person, would have such strength. The bloodthirsty demon wolf raised its claws, condensing waves of black light as it prepared to claw at Kager. Kagu-Air's expression was solemn. Although he seemed to be enjoying himself, his heart was already hanging in the air. The strength of the bloodthirsty demon wolf's body could be deduced from last night's attack. They were very powerful, but they were not invincible. At the very least, that was the case for Kegel. However, the level 8 bloodthirsty demon wolf was much more powerful than before. Even Kager wanted to give up on the battle. How could he defeat such a sharp fellow? Let me. Bai Wuxia took over. See Wuxia. Bai Wuxia's eyes seemed to have whirlpools, causing the bloodthirsty demon wolf to be stunned. 10,000 Beasts Emperor Fist. Fang Yu's martial art descended from the sky. He attacked with the dragon's soaring technique, and the bloodthirsty demon wolf could only take it all. Puff! Under the continuous attacks, the bloodthirsty demon wolf also spat out blood. He made it bleed. Lu Shu's eyebrows twitched. One could imagine the strength of a level 8 demonic beast's body. However, under Fang Yu's continuous attacks, it still bled. This meant that they did have a chance to kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Me too. Lu Tianbing summoned his armor and wrapped it around his entire body. From afar, he looked like a puppet. Clang! Finally, Lu Tianbing summoned a sword that was suffused with an intense cold light and slashed out. Hiss! The level 8 demonic beast's flesh was torn apart, and blood splattered everywhere. What is this? Fang Yu's eyes lit up. Not to mention the fact that it was quite powerful, it also looked very majestic. It was really enviable. This is a set, and the reason why Lu Tianbing is so powerful is mainly because of the set effect. The dragon's soul said unhurriedly, "You actually don't know? I thought you were omnipotent. Tell me in detail." Fang Yu ignored the dragon's soul's ridicule and asked, "You know about spirit weapons and spirit weapons, right? Some spirit weapons and spirit weapons have a complete set of blueprints. Some may not be very strong individually, but when combined, the effect is even stronger than a spirit weapon. Of course, there are also some that are very powerful individually. Once assembled, it is a combination of strong and strong." The dragon's soul said frankly, "There's such a thing." Fang Yu was extremely excited. "Give me one too." The most powerful set is the divine equipment. In fact, in the myriad spirit continent, there are even 10 divine equipment. Our dragon race also has one. The dragon's soul ignored Fang Yu's words and continued to talk. Our dragon race has the dragon god armor. Legend has it that when a martial saint wears it, they can kill a martial emperor. No way, Fang Yu said in shock. Although he had heard a lot of stories about a peak martial saint with dual saint aptitude being able to fight a martial emperor, this was the first time he heard of it being able to kill a martial emperor. One must know that there is a huge gap between martial saint and martial emperor. Now, saying that a martial saint wearing the dragon god armor can kill a martial emperor, is this really not a joke? What? You think I'm lying to you? It's all true. But the price to pay is also very, very big. The dragon's soul replied. What kind of price? Fang Yu asked again. Probably after that, the martial saint will be crippled. The dragon's soul said. The dragon god armor has a huge requirement on the body and the consumption is quite huge. Even a martial sage would barely be able to wear it. Only a dragon emperor would be able to wear it without any damage. Remember, it is dragon emperor, not an ordinary martial emperor. Although a martial emperor's body is also strong, the dragon race has an innate advantage. The dragon emperor's body is stronger. Only then can he withstand the backlash of the dragon god armor. Fang Yu nodded. After all, it is a divine weapon that can allow a martial saint to kill a martial emperor. After wearing it, the power and backlash are naturally not something an ordinary martial artist can withstand. Although it is a bit scary that it can cripple a martial saint, it is not without reason. Chapter 231. Purring! Pung! Purring! Lu Tianbing charged at the bloodthirsty fiend wolf without any regard for his life. In fact, the bloodthirsty fiend wolf was forced to retreat again and again by Lu Tianbing. Too powerful, too ferocious. Seeing this scene, Kager and the others couldn't help but label Lu Tianbing. Isn't he fierce and powerful? Especially with Lu Tianbing's current offensive, he didn't even care about his life. This was something they couldn't compare to. For example, when Wang Zhong and Kager realized that their natal items might be damaged, and when they realized that they wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand in a head-on clash, they hesitated and chose to fight in a roundabout way. However, Lu Tianbing didn't. He went all out from the beginning. Even if the bloodthirsty fiend wolf reacted, he still didn't have any intention of retreating. This was simply too powerful and terrifying. Isn't this a little too shocking? Mo Ling was shocked by Lu Tianbing's ferocity. Between the two of us, I'm known for my wisdom and talent in refining. Although my brother's talent in refining is slightly weaker than mine, it's only a matter of time before he becomes a refining master. What our family admires the most about him is his courage to press forward and his ferocity when facing his enemies. Lu Xinjian proudly said. The bloodthirsty fiend wolf is about to counterattack. Feng Yaoguang reminded. Don't be afraid. Lu Xinjian actually summoned a few mechanical birds and circled around the bloodthirsty fiend wolf. Buzz buzz, in the next moment, an electromagnetic array directly controlled the bloodthirsty fiend wolf. The electromagnetic array wasn't powerful, but it caught the bloodthirsty fiend wolf off guard and didn't have much of a chance to escape. Die for me. Lu Tianbing raised his sword and slashed down. This slash was so deep that the bone could be seen. How terrifying! Fang Yu, what are you thinking? Why don't you take this opportunity to attack? He's going to steal your limelight. The dragon's soul couldn't help but ask. Little did it know, Fang Yu said in a serious tone. I'm thinking of a problem. How do I make a set? The dragon's soul was speechless for a while before saying, Brat, are you done yet? No, that's not it. There's a deeper reason behind this. Fang Yu said seriously. What's the deeper reason? The dragon's soul asked suspiciously. It's a secret. I can't tell you. Fang Yu sighed. How could he tell the dragon's soul? The main reason was that there was no such thing in the profound sky world. There was no such game. It was precisely because of this that Fang Yu was particularly fascinated by the charm of the set. Roar. Suddenly, the bloodthirsty demon wolf's roar woke Fang Yu up. Brats. The bloodthirsty demon wolf was enraged, and even its words became clear. You've really angered me. Today, none of you shall stay here. That depends on whether you have the ability or not. Fang Yu gripped the dragon teeth blade tightly and slashed down. Boom. This strike forced the bloodthirsty demon wolf to lower its head. Boom. Bang. Boom. Next, his left and right hands moved in slow motion. Slash after slash, slash after slash, making it look like the bloodthirsty demon wolf was dancing. This, Lu Tianbing was stunned. The reason why he was so fearless was mainly because he had the protection of the set. The power of the set was very strong. Even if an accident happened, it would not be too difficult to protect his life. However, Fang Yu did not have a set. Without the protection of a set, he dared to be so fierce and fearless? He was really a little dumbfounded. What a fierce person! As expected of the captain of Kager. Kagu gave Fang Yu a thumbs up. If Fang Yu could directly kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf, then he could just lie down and take the reward. That would be the best-case scenario. As expected of Bai Wuxie's opponent. Bai Wuxie's eyes shone. He knew that Fang Yu was not an ordinary person. He even felt that the Fang Yu last night, Even if he was not in his strongest state, he was not far from it. But now it seemed that he was still too naive. Feng Yu was unfathomable. Roar! The bloodthirsty demon wolf roared, and the red and black light in its eyes shone brightly. Soul book page. At this time, Feng Yu took out an item. At this moment, he and the bloodthirsty demon wolf were both pulled into the soul book world. Soul book world. The dragon's soul immediately reacted. Feng Yu actually used this move? It's an 8th level monster. The strength of its soul should be about the same. Do we have a chance of winning like this? The dragon's soul said worriedly. The soul book world was a special place. It was a special world. The advantage was that Feng Yu was equivalent to the ruler of this place. Although his soul book world was not that powerful, it was still very convenient for him to be the ruler. However, in this way, Feng Yu could only fight alone. His few companions were quite strong. If they worked together, the effect would not be bad. This point had been verified just now. But now that they were in the soul book world, they could not help. They could only rely on Feng Yu, the dragon soul, and the void rat. But the void rat was still sleeping, preparing to break through to the demon king realm. He believed that unless it was a critical moment, Feng Yu would not consider summoning the void rat. Chance of winning? That's one thing. On the other hand, take a look. The true appearance of the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Feng Yu said lazily. The dragon's soul looked and its hair stood on end. F***ck. Other than the soul of the bloodthirsty demon wolf, there was also a pocket-sized woman. The woman was wearing a red and black dress. Her appearance was demonic. Every frown and smile made people shudder. What's going on? The dragon's soul asked in shock. Why was there an additional woman? Have you forgotten? The bloodthirsty demon wolf is not as simple as that, it's possessed by an evil spirit. Feng Yu said seriously, then she should be an evil spirit. Evil spirit. The dragon soul's expression also turned serious. Evil spirits were not easy to deal with. Previously, Feng Yu was lucky enough to force the evil spirit of the Dragon Gate to escape. Then, the 3 heroes of the Azure Dragon Academy came in time and sealed the evil spirit with their treasures. Otherwise, if the evil spirit escaped, the consequences would be unimaginable. Now, he said that this was another evil spirit. It couldn't be. Its dragon life was a little too difficult. Interesting, you actually know that I'm a demon, and you don't seem to be afraid of me. In fact, you seem to be preparing to lure me into this place and kill me? The woman in the long dress giggled. Do you demons like to giggle like this? Feng Yu rolled his eyes and asked, I want to ask you a few questions. As long as you submit to me, not to mention a few questions, even 100 questions, I'll answer and agree to all of them. The woman in the long dress did not care about Feng Yu's attitude and replied with a smile. Chapter 232. Answer my question first. Feng Yu said unhurriedly. From the looks of it, he really didn't seem to be afraid of this evil spirit. Interesting boy. Tell me, what do you want to know? As long as I can answer it, I can tell you. The woman in the long dress looked deeply at Feng Yu and said with a smile. She knew that on the myriad spirit continent, demons were no less terrifying than ghosts and deities. First of all, did you erode the Azure Dragon Mirror? Feng Yu asked. Erode the Azure Dragon Mirror? You're probably right, because based on the current situation, I did erode it. The woman in the long dress pondered for a while, and did not hide anything. Second, why does the demon race have so much to do with the Azure Dragon Academy? Feng Yu frowned. This was something that he could not figure out. Azure Dragon Academy? You might as well say that it has a lot to do with the dragon race. The woman in the long dress said indifferently, What Azure Dragon Academy? I only learned about it after I erode the Azure Dragon Mirror. Before that, the one who has a lot of hatred for the demon race should be the dragon race. The dragon race. Feng Yu looked at the dragon soul. The dragon soul shook its head, indicating that it did not know. The dragon race shares a lot of memories and secrets, hidden in our bloodline. As our level increases, these memories will emerge one after another. However, some secrets have to be passed down orally. When I became a saint back then, logically speaking, I should be able to understand a lot of the dragon race's secrets. However, I was suddenly attacked by 4 saints and was suppressed as a demon dragon. I didn't have time to understand many things, so even if you ask me, I don't know. There's a well in the dragon race's forbidden area. It leads to the demon race's world. The woman in the long dress naturally saw the existence of the dragon soul. She also heard the dragon soul's words and said slowly, "What?" As soon as she said this, Feng Yu and the dragon soul's expressions changed. There's a well in the dragon race's forbidden area that leads to the demon race's world? No way. To be precise, it's a small world. This kind of small world is often formed after some big worlds have collapsed. There are countless of them, and most of them have no value of development. After all, the big worlds have collapsed and destroyed everything. Even if they survive, how many good things can be preserved? Do you believe it? However, there are also some small worlds that have been preserved more or less by coincidence or due to intentional protection. These small worlds have the value to be developed and have many resources that the original world doesn't have. You should know that cultivation is, in a sense, interconnected. Things that can't be solved in this world may not necessarily be solved in another world. Many years ago, our demon clan was the first to discover this small world. Then, we spent a tremendous amount of effort to develop it. Little did we know that your dragon clan would also discover a passage to this small world by chance. The woman in the long dress leaned against the bloodthirsty fiend wolf and continued, although according to our inference, it is very likely that this small world was a backup plan left behind by the original big world before it collapsed. It was destroyed before it had time to deal with it. Later on, the small world lost the capital to go to the All-Spirits continent. As for the Dragon Clan, they were extremely lucky to be able to go to this small world. I don't think I need to say more about what happened after that, right? Feng Yu was silent. Indeed, there was no need to say more about what happened later. It was nothing more than that the Demon Clan was developing it, and then the Dragon Clan found such a good thing that was worth developing. They certainly wouldn't let it go, so for the sake of interests, a war was triggered. But, according to the history of the Wanling continent, the grievances between the Demon Clan and us can't be summarized by the Dragon Clan, right? Feng Yu asked again. Indeed, because our Demon Clan is also divided into different demon realms. Many demon realms are involved in the development of this lost small world. We fought with the Dragon Clan because of this. As for the others, they may have encountered it by chance or wandered here and then triggered the war. The woman in the long skirt said lazily. Feng Yu asked curiously, although I asked you, why did you tell me in such detail? To win you over. Since you're together with this dragon soul, it must have given you some benefits or convenience. But what I want to tell you is that I can give you whatever it can give you, and I can give you more and better. The woman in the long skirt said proudly, take now for example. You are taking part in the so-called second round test, right? I have already eroded the Azure Dragon Mirror. For the time being, I have half of the Azure Dragon Mirror's will. With my help, won't it be easy for you to win or get something? That makes sense, Feng Yu said. Of course it makes sense. Look at this demonic beast. It's an 8th grade demonic beast. Is it strong? Is it powerful? I can make it your mount. And this is a meeting gift. As long as you cooperate with me, there will be more. When the restriction of the core area is lifted, I can even make the Demon King your pet and your mount. The woman in the long skirt said proudly. She was very clear about the thoughts of these geniuses who were taking part in the second round test. What they wanted was nothing more than fame and fortune, as well as all sorts of good fortune. She would give. She would give everything. More importantly, she had the azure dragon mirror. She only needed to say a word if she wanted to give. I still have some questions. Did you attach yourself to the azure dragon mirror because of the war between you and the dragon race? I remember that the azure dragon mirror came from the dragon race. Fang Yu asked. Yes. Back then, the war between us and the dragon race was about to break out. As a lord of the demon realm, I was summoned. After all, after the development of this small world, I will be able to get a share of it. Now that the dragon race has come out to obstruct and stop us, I will definitely participate in the war. The woman in the long skirt said generously. These things were actually not much of a secret among some powerhouses, because some martial emperors also occupied such a lost small world. They even built their own divine kingdom with the lost small world as the foundation. This kind of divine kingdom was special. It could also give the divine kingdom some unique abilities according to the original large world of the small world. I see. I have another question. If you answer truthfully, I will consider your proposal. Fang Yu nodded slightly and said, Fang Yu. The dragon's soul was anxious and shocked. What did Fang Yu mean by this? Was he going to betray the myriad spirit continent and collude with the demons? This was incredible. Sure. Ask away. I will tell you everything I know. The woman in the long skirt was very satisfied with Fang Yu's reaction and chuckled with a trace of joy. Chapter 233. The Azure Dragon Mirror seems to be paying special attention to me. I want to know, is this your idea or the Azure Dragon Mirror's? Fang Yu asked with great interest. Is there a difference? The woman in the long dress asked. Yes. Fang Yu nodded solemnly. Then I'll tell you, this is the Azure Dragon Mirror's own will. I don't know why it's paying attention to you, but now it seems that you're really a worthy investment. The woman in the long dress said with a smile. Is that so? Fang Yu nodded slightly. I've thought about it. Hey. Fang Yu. The dragon's soul was anxious. Could it be that Fang Yu was thinking of agreeing to her request? That's unacceptable. It doesn't matter. It's a wise choice. The woman in the long dress said with a smile. No matter what, this semi-final is about to fall into my control. If you don't join me, do you want to sink with all of you? The grade of this dragon soul isn't bad. Wait until I recover a little more strength, then I'll refine it into a treasure and give it to you. Soul-related treasures are very rare, and the refining method is also very difficult to obtain. It's also a rare item in our demon clan. After a pause, the woman in the long dress stared at the dragon's soul with great interest, causing it to shudder. The dragon's soul even had a feeling that it was no match for this woman. Not to mention that it was only a weak dragon soul now. Even if it was at its peak, it would not be a match for this woman. The lord of the devil domain of the devil race was simply too powerful. One must know that the dragon soul was a martial saint at its peak. A martial saint who had just become a martial saint was still a martial saint. There's such a thing? I wonder if it can broaden my horizons? Fang Yu asked with great interest. It was not that such things did not exist in the myriad spirit continent, but they were equally precious, and could not be obtained just because one wanted to. Secondly, if there was a chance, he would also like to compare the two and see the difference between them. Didn't the myriad spirit continent often say that the demons were good at playing with people's hearts and souls? Presumably, there must be something unique about this aspect. Sure. With that, the woman in the long dress flicked her finger, and a spiritual light immediately flew toward Fang Yu. Buzz. As the spiritual light entered his body, Fang Yu instantly understood a lot of things. I see, I see. Fang Yu was enlightened. Many of the previous doubts became clear at this moment. Moreover, although it was said to be a method to refine soul treasures, it actually contained some basic refining methods. In this regard, it was not much different from the myriad spirit continent. Tell me your answer, the woman in the long dress said again. Well, after careful consideration, I've decided to reject you, Fang Yu said seriously. What? Hearing this, the woman in the long dress was stunned. Was she hallucination? The result of Fang Yu's long struggle was actually to reject him? Fang Yu's. The soul zest, this fellow was still the original Fang Yu. He didn't degrade himself due to the other party's doubts. Attention, attention, you seem to think that I will definitely agree with her. Fang Yu squinted at the soul and said. Ahem, the soul coughed a few times and didn't know how to answer. How could it say that it was really suspicious of Fang Yu just now? Am I, Fang Yu, such a person? Fang Yu smiled and said. If you are not such a person, you will probably die here today. The woman in the long dress said coldly. That's not necessarily true. Fang Yu stared at her and said, if you really have such strength, you would have killed us human clan warriors long ago. Why do you need to beat around the bush? You, the woman in the long dress's expression changed. Because Fang Yu had hit her sore spot. She was actually extremely weak now. Compared to the soul of the dragon, she was even weaker. If that wasn't the case with her personality, why would she be chattering nonstop with a mere junior? She would have already killed Fang Yu. Therefore, she changed her mind and tried to rope in these juniors with potential to work for her. Little did she know that she had been played by Fang Yu. This kind of thing was intolerable. What about you? I say, you have lived for so long. Do you really think that a little trick can make me betray you? Fang Yu said sarcastically. Go to hell. At this time, the woman in the long dress was no longer prepared to talk to Fang Yu. She waved her hand and the soul of the bloodthirsty demon wolf attacked. This is just a small page of the Book of Souls, and I'm not strong enough to make use of it, but the forging method you just gave me has given me some inspiration. Do you want to know what kind of inspiration it is? Fang Yu asked with a smile. His smile made the woman in the long dress feel very uncomfortable. It was as if she was still a clown who couldn't threaten Fang Yu. Impossible. With his current strength, even in this place, he can't do anything to me. Thinking of this, the woman in the long dress calmed down. What's wrong with Fang Yu? After seeing Fang Yu's attack, he and the bloodthirsty demon wolf didn't move at all. Everyone was stunned. Maybe it's a special method that made them enter a mental or spiritual world. Mo Ling voiced out her conjecture. The Tianji Hall had a rich collection of books and all kinds of knowledge. Mo Ling had already read at least 70% of the books. Thus, the amount of knowledge she had was unimaginable to ordinary people. However, senior sister, who Mo Ling had always thought of as a strong opponent, had read 90% of the books. With a 20% difference, talent and intelligence, Mo Ling was at a disadvantage. She even felt that she was living in senior sister's shadow. Now, she and senior sister had chosen different paths. Senior sister was looking for a way to become stronger and wasn't prepared to enter any school or sect. After all, if one really wanted to learn, the Tianji Hall was enough for a cultivator to learn for a lifetime. Mo Ling chose to borrow strength. She felt that her chances of becoming a martial emperor were slim. In fact, it wasn't just her. Not every generation of the Tianji Hall's predecessors could produce a martial emperor. Usually, it would take at least 3 generations for a martial emperor to appear. Mo Ling didn't think that she could surpass 3 generations. However, she could deduce that Fang Yu was a special person. He was like a whirlpool, a very, very small whirlpool. However, he could attract all kinds of good fortune. Even if there was great danger at the same time, it was fine. For this opportunity, Mo Ling would do anything. As for what if Mo Ling and her senior sister also became a martial emperor? She didn't want to think about such a distant matter for now. Moreover, no matter how monstrous her senior sister was, she would most likely shrink back when facing the difficulty of becoming a martial emperor. Chapter 234. That was why Mo Ling was trying her best to help Feng Yu. She hoped that when they encountered greater danger, she would be able to obtain greater benefits. Why don't we take this opportunity to kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf? Lu Tianbing suggested. Based on the strength they had just displayed, it was not impossible for them to kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Kegu was also eager to give it a try. No. Mo Ling refused. Although Feng Yu used some method to pull them into a special world, if you act rashly, there is a high chance that you will awaken the bloodthirsty demon wolf. The bloodthirsty demon wolf is currently immersed in this special world. If you attack it, it will undoubtedly be giving it an external force to leave this world. You must not. We can only sit and wait for death? Wang Zhong frowned. This was indeed a great opportunity. If they missed it, it would be too much of a waste. We can't sit and wait for death. We need to wait for an opportunity, Mo Ling said seriously. Feng Yu is probably dealing with the bloodthirsty demon wolf. I know you guys don't believe me, but since Feng Yu has made a move, he definitely has the confidence to make the bloodthirsty demon wolf stay. I agree with this point, Bai Wuxie said lazily. For Feng Yu to be able to become Bai Wuxie's opponent, he naturally has some skill. He waited for an opportunity to make a move against the bloodthirsty demon wolf, so he must have a certain degree of confidence. Even if he can't kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf in the end, he can at least severely injure it. So before the results are out, let's not act rashly. Bai Wuxie's words more or less made people uncomfortable, but it did make sense. Feng Yu was not someone who liked to do useless things. Since he did it, he definitely had a certain level of confidence. Then, they would just have to wait. Bloodthirsty demon wolf, kill him! The woman in the long dress ordered the bloodthirsty demon wolf to kill Feng Yu and the dragon soul. She did not care about the pages of the Book of Souls. What she wanted was to vent the hatred in her heart. She was the master of the demon realm. How could she be played by a junior? This was simply unbearable. I said, the dragon's soul becomes stronger. Feng Yu snorted coldly. Hey Feng Yu. Before the dragon's soul could finish speaking, it felt the changes inside. It was really getting stronger. Martial king, martial monarch, martial ancestor. The dragon's soul was still growing stronger. Impossible. At this moment, the woman's expression finally changed. This was not an illusion, nor was it an illusion. The dragon's soul was truly becoming stronger. If that was not the case, she would not have felt fear. I'm really recovering my strength. The dragon's soul was overjoyed. It had had enough of being weak when it was young. 100 years, a full 100 years. It had once again become stronger and recovered. Roar! The dragon's soul roared, shaking the heavens and earth. The bloodthirsty demon wolf instinctively shrank back. Because the dragon clan's bloodline was an absolute suppression to them. Although it was powerful, the dragon soul's bloodline and cultivation were both above it. It was no match for the dragon soul. Deal with them, Feng Yu said leisurely. Alright. The dragon's soul responded and soared into the sky. Bang! It stretched out its dragon palm and slapped down. The bloodthirsty demon wolf could not dodge in time and was directly smashed into pieces. You dare! The woman in the long dress was furious at the approaching dragon soul. Many years ago, she had fallen into such a state because of the dragon clan. Was she going to fail because of the dragon clan again? Boom! The dragon soul did not give her any chance. After the bloodthirsty demon wolf, it clawed again. It was simple and crude, and the woman in the long dress was directly turned into ashes. Is she dead? The dragon soul asked. To be honest, it felt that the other party was not dead. Because this feeling was different from when it killed the bloodthirsty demon wolf. The bloodthirsty demon wolf's soul was really scattered. It could feel that the bloodthirsty demon wolf was dead. However, the woman in the long dress was not like this. She seemed to be dead, but also seemed to be not dead. Of course she's not dead. What she possessed was at most a trace of her soul. Admittedly, this is definitely not without any effect on her, but it's far from the point of death. Fang Yu's tone was not surprised, as if it was within his expectations. No matter what, this was a guy who could survive in the war with the Dragon Clan. How could it be possible that he was killed by the Dragon Soul's claw today? Then it's our turn to settle the score. The Dragon Soul suddenly smiled at Fang Yu. What score? Fang Yu asked curiously. Let's settle the score of you bullying me. The Dragon Soul said with a smile. You brat, you bullied me miserably before. Oh, is that so? Fang Yu did not mind. Oh, is that so? The Dragon Soul suddenly became unhappy. Fang Yu, the humiliation you gave me before, I want to take it back with interest. Is this an opportunity to take revenge on me? Fang Yu blinked and said. If you say so. The Dragon Soul looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water and said, Don't say that you forgot how you bullied me. Is this bullying? Fang Yu tilted his head and asked. That's not it? Damn it, I'll teach you a lesson now and let you give me some interest. After saying that, the Dragon Soul actually blasted a blow at Fang Yu. Of course, it did not really want to kill Fang Yu. It and Fang Yu were in a relationship where one's glory and one's downfall. It was still clear in its heart. However, it had to teach this brat a lesson so that he would not order it around all day long. Did it, a dignified dragon soul, still have any dignity? However, Fang Yu did not slow down and directly snapped his fingers. Smack! In the next moment, the dragon's soul seemed to have deflated, and it became weak and small. When its fist landed in front of Fang Yu, it was as light as a feather. The dragon's soul was stunned. Smack! Fang Yu sent the dragon's soul flying with a slap. Ouch! My dear mother! The dragon's soul screamed. Pain, so painful. It felt like it was about to be slapped out of its wits just now. Give you a little sunshine and you're brilliant. You're really something. Fang Yu said indifferently. Cough, cough, cough. There's no such thing, no such thing. The dragon's soul quickly explained. Speaking of which, how did you make me strong and then weak all of a sudden? The dragon's soul asked carefully. Your energy comes from the soul book's page, the soul world. However, this method consumes a lot of its energy. If it's complete, then it's fine, but it's not complete. This method is very harmful. If it's not for the replenishment of energy from killing the bloodthirsty demon wolf and the others, I would definitely. And before Fang Yu finished his words, the super slaughter system had already popped up a notification. Ding! Congratulations to the host. The Soul Books page has been restored to 20%. Chapter 235. 20%. Fang Yu's eyebrows twitched. He remembered that it had only repaired a little before. Now it had actually repaired a full 20%. Was he really not joking? The dragon's soul roughly understood the logic, so it didn't care why Fang Yu suddenly stopped talking. Instead, it felt uneasy. It had thought that it had become the master, so it was not prepared to give Fang Yu any face. Who would have thought that this fellow would be so cunning? Everything was fake. It was just a puppet in Fang Yu's hands, coming and going at his beck and call. Bada bada! The dragon's soul shed tears, feeling extremely wronged. What are you crying for? I won't pursue the matter with you. Fang Yu glanced at the dragon's soul and said. Really, really? You really won't take revenge on me? The dragon's soul asked carefully. Revenge? I, Fong Yu, have always been a kind-hearted person. Am I someone who would suddenly take revenge? Fong Yu chuckled as he replied, although his smile made the dragon's soul shudder. Cough cough, that's good. I say, Fong Yu, you are wise and mighty, so you must be very magnanimous. You won't bother too much with a small dragon's soul like me. The dragon's soul hurriedly flattered Fong Yu. The corner of Fong Yu's mouth twitched, but he did not care. The reason why he was magnanimous was mainly because the dragon's soul only wanted to retaliate a little and did not prepare to kill him or anything. Although one of the main reasons was that they were bound together for good or ill, in the end, it was still because the dragon's soul didn't want to take the initiative to break its relationship and promise with Fong Yu. This was the real reason why Fong Yu was lenient. Alright, it's time to go out. With that, Fong Yu took the lead to leave the soul world. Fong Yu returned and slowly opened his eyes. Mo Ling immediately went forward and asked, Fong Yu, how is it? The bloodthirsty demon wolf it's already dead. Fong Yu looked at the bloodthirsty demon wolf, and sure enough, it was lying limp and motionless. After all, his soul had been destroyed, and the remaining body was just a walking corpse, unable to cause any trouble. Furthermore, the bloodthirsty demon wolf hadn't reached the point where it didn't need a soul and could still live with its physical body. He really killed the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Everyone was stunned. Even with their current lineup, they would still be able to put up a fight against an 8th-grade bloodthirsty demon wolf. This was already evident from the various probing and exchange of blows that they had just exchanged. However, there's one thing I have to say. Fong Yu looked around at everyone. What is it? Everyone asked. Fong Yu, wait. After calculating with her fingers, Mo Ling called out to Fong Yu. Let's talk somewhere else. Mo Ling said. What happened? Fong Yu asked. Did something strange happen to you? And it's a very serious kind. Mo Ling went straight to the point. Yes, I encountered an evil demon. Fong Yu recounted his experience truthfully. Of course, he embellished some key points and didn't speak as bluntly as before. As expected, Mo Ling's expression changed. She had calculated with her fingers out of habit that Fong Yu would say something shocking and possibly cause a commotion. She didn't expect it to be related to evil demons. Evil demons! She didn't know if they were fated to meet here. You can even calculate this? Fong Yu asked curiously. I didn't calculate that it was an evil demon, but I did. You have to say something shocking. Mo Ling took a deep breath and said, this shocking statement will not only cause a huge commotion, but also bring great danger to all of you. Therefore, dying is considered a light punishment. So exaggerated? Fong Yu couldn't help but be moved. How could he not be moved? All he had to do was report the evil demon. How could they be wiped out? This was too exaggerated. I don't know, but according to the result of my deduction, this is the case. Mo Ling shook her head gently. Of course, it's your freedom to decide what to do. Then I'll let it go. Fong Yu said decisively. This is what you said true? Mo Ling was a little surprised. I only deduced it, but it's hard to say whether it's true or not. I believe you, Fong Yu said seriously. Fong Yu. Sigh. You trust me so much that I want to marry you. Mo Ling said faintly, but I can't do it now. I haven't surpassed my senior sister and can't focus on bearing children for you. Fong Yu was speechless. Are you serious? Yes. Mo Ling nodded repeatedly. Forget it. Fong Yu smiled helplessly. Since you don't want to say it, I'll suppress this news for the time being. Seeing Fong Yu and Mo Ling come back with a discussion, Feng Yaoguang had an inexplicable feeling. What did you talk about? Just a small matter. What I said just now is temporarily invalid. Now let's move on to the next segment. Dividing the points. Fang Yu said with a smile. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. Dividing the points was naturally a segment that everyone was happy to see. Even if they had doubts about the question just now, they put it aside for the time being. Anyway, Fang Yu was someone who knew what to do. He knew what to do. In the green dragon mirror, the strands of black silk were obviously weaker, because a strand of her soul had been destroyed by Fang Yu. Huff, huff! The lady in the long dress panted heavily. The sudden destruction of her soul had affected her greatly. It could be said that if she hadn't been careful, it wasn't impossible for her to be left behind. Because compared to the past, the current her was too weak. If she was careless, it wouldn't be strange even if she really turned into ashes. Fortunately, I was careful. Otherwise, if I really fell into this kid's trap, it would be... The lady in the long dress was terrified. How is it? Although the students of our Green Dragon Institute aren't from the dragon tribe, we can't underestimate the power of the demon tribe. The one who spoke was the Green Dragon Mirror. It was an old voice. Just by looking at the voice, one couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman. Haha, do you think this can prove anything? Does this mean that you can defeat the demon tribe? Originally, offending me, the lord of the demon territory was already courting death. However, you just happen to offend several lords of the demon territory. You're courting death. The lady in the long dress laughed and said, You should know that any lord of the demon territory is equivalent to the martial emperor of the myriad spirit continent. Can you afford to go against so many martial emperors at the same time? The green dragon mirror was silent for a while and said, Of course we can't afford to go against so many martial emperors at the same time. However, are you martial emperors? You're just demons. That's all. Chapter 236. You, the woman in the long dress, was furious. What Qing Longjing said was the truth. They were comparable to martial emperors, but they weren't real martial emperors. In the demon realm, every lord had their own domain to enhance their strength. This kind of enhancement was similar to the divine kingdom's enhancement to martial emperors. Gradually, they could reach the strength of a martial emperor. However, there was still a difference between this and a real martial emperor. It could be said that when the overlord of the demonic realm fought against a martial emperor, the martial emperor would have the last laugh. Now that Qing Longjing had exposed her lie, it would be a lie to say that she wasn't angry. Good, good, good. Since that's the case, I'll destroy this semi-final. The woman in the long dress was so angry that she laughed. This is just a small interest. Instigating Fang Yu, this dark horse, is just a small interest. Qing Longjing said with a smile. The woman in the long dress face turned green and white. She didn't know what to say. Humph. After saying that, the woman in the long dress turned back into black silk and continued to corrode Qing Longjing. The dragon-shaped figure showed a painful expression, but it gritted its teeth and persevered. It wouldn't lose to this kind of trash. Dividing the points? How many points are there? Bai Wuxia asked. Let me see. 4,000 points. When Fang Yu saw that it was 4,000 points, he was also shocked. He tapped on the light screen projected by the token, which contained the composition of points. So that's how it is. In addition to being strong, it also controls a large number of demonic beasts. So, if we can defeat it, we can get more points. Fang Yu suddenly understood. There was such a saying. Then let's divide the points according to the contribution. How about it? Fang Yu asked. Okay. No problem. No one had any objections to this. Because this time, it was more of an attempt, a test. Now, it was proven that their method was effective. Then, the points would naturally be endless. In the end, Fang Yu personally killed the bloodthirsty demon wolf, and got 1,000 points. Lu Tianbing's performance was good, and he got 650 points. Kegu Air 500 points. Wang Zhong 500 points, Bai Wuxia 500 points, Lu Shenzhan 350 points. Mo Ling and Feng Yaoguang each got 300 points. As for the demonic beast core, it was obtained by Feng Yu. He was the key to killing the bloodthirsty demon wolf in this battle, so it was only natural for him to obtain this demonic beast inner core. With such a distribution, everyone was happy. After all, the three girls had only assisted in killing the grade 8 bloodthirsty fiend wolf. The main force had been Feng Yu and the others. Lu Shenzhan and Lu Tianbing had cooperated once, so it was natural for them to get 50 more points. These are all small matters. We only used half a day to attack the bloodthirsty demon wolf's nest and gained several hundred points. This is only the second day of the semifinals, and it can already be considered a bountiful harvest. Kager chuckled. He didn't care about the points. The main point was that Feng Yu's plan was feasible. He believed that in the future, it would not be about increasing points, but farming points. What should we do next? As we move up, and then before nightfall we will settle down in another city? Lu Shenzhan asked. They still had to search the nests of the bloodthirsty demon wolves to see if there was anything good. This also required time. Moving also required time. In the blink of an eye, it was about time. Regarding this matter, I know what to do. Right now, let's go search the nests of the bloodthirsty demon wolves first. Feng Yu did not answer directly. Seeing this, Lu Shenzhan did not refute. Feng Yu still had a sense of propriety when doing things, so there was no need to worry too much about this. The bloodthirsty demon wolves and Feng Yu's battle had already frightened the weak demonic beasts into fleeing. The strong demonic beasts were also annihilated by Feng Yu and the others, swept clean. Therefore, the bloodthirsty demon wolf's nest simply became an ownerless object. Although it had some intelligence and had already set up a simple array formation as a defense, the bloodthirsty demon wolves had already burped, so the so-called defense was also impossible to speak of. This is the bloodthirsty demon wolf's nest? Everyone walked into the bloodthirsty demon wolf's nest, and their eyes could not help but light up. Piles of spirit stones, spirit weapons, demonic beast inner cores. Demonic beasts directly swallowing demonic beast inner cores has a certain degree of risk. However, creatures like the bloodthirsty demon wolves, whether it is cultivation or diet, are very modeled, so they are not afraid of this risk. Feng Yaoguang said, "Let's search by ourselves, or just divide it evenly." Feng Yu said, "These things, not many of them were what he wanted. At present, Feng Yu urgently needed fire attribute spirit stones. However, a spirit stone with an attribute wasn't an ordinary spirit stone, not to mention a fire attribute spirit stone. It was even more difficult to find one. Therefore, if they could give up fire attribute spirit stones, in terms of benefits, Feng Yu was willing to give up a portion. The super slaughter system was Feng Yu's trump card, but Feng Yu did not mind having more trump cards and confidence. Ding! Within the Azure Dragon mirror, everyone's tokens suddenly issued a notification. This notification was connected to their minds, and only they could sense it. No one else would be able to detect anything. What's going on? Everyone looked at their tokens in confusion and couldn't help but be shocked. First, Feng Yu, 2,500 points. Second, Lu Tianbing, 930 points. Third, Kegu Air, 800 points. Oh my god, what's going on? 9 people on the list? Doesn't that mean the entire team is on the list? What are they trying to do? Everyone on the list. What the F***ck? Everyone was shocked, angry, envious, and jealous at the same time. Being on the list together, what an honor this was! Unfortunately, it had nothing to do with them. Moreover, Feng Yu had obtained thousands of points in one go yesterday, which already made them jealous. Now, not only did he continue to stabilize his position, but his team members were also on the list. What the hell was going on? If this continued, most of them would be reduced to supporting characters. How could they tolerate this? Damn it. Fong Yu's team, we can't let them get ahead. There must be an opportunity to snipe them. Yeah, Fong Yu. If we don't stop him, he will really become a dark horse. No. Their previous goal was to encircle the bloodthirsty fiend wolf, right? Now it seems like they succeeded? Everyone who came to their senses revealed a look of shock. That's right, to be able to get points so quickly in such a short period of time, other than encircling the bloodthirsty fiend wolf, what else could they do? Nothing. With that in mind, their expressions suddenly became serious. Last night, Fong Yu was still being chased by the bloodthirsty fiend wolf, right? Now, only one night had passed, and he actually brought people to kill it? No matter how good his team of 9 was, it was still very difficult to kill a Class 7 demonic beast, and a Class 7 bloodthirsty fiend wolf at that. He was actually so powerful and terrifying. Chapter 237. Those who could be called geniuses were not fools. Many people quickly figured out the reason, and could not help but fall silent. They were both geniuses who had broken through to Martial Grandmaster before the age of 20. Why was Fong Yu so powerful? I don't believe it. Some people roared and decided to challenge Fong Yu. They wanted to see if there was really such a huge gap between Heaven's Chosen and Heaven's Chosen. Inside a cave. Fong Yu. Dai Meng Jr. gritted her teeth. Fong Yu had humiliated her in public and saved her in front of everyone. If it was someone else, they might think that they were even. After all, it was true that they were even. However, Dai Meng Jr. did not think so. She had vaguely concluded that she was a reincarnated person. In her previous life, she was definitely someone above the martial sage realm. In this life, regardless of whether she was good or evil, good or bad, she would eventually embark on a glorious path. In fact, after Dai Meng was born, she had rushed all the way to the top. She had won against many geniuses, and many insufferably arrogant people. However, in front of Dai Meng, everything was illusory. They were not even comparable to Dai Meng's attack. However, all of this was ended by Fong Yu. Fong Yu was very powerful. Before defeating Dai Meng, he had won 9 consecutive battles. Dai Meng dared to say that among these 9 people, 1 or 2 of them had a 10% to 20% chance of defeating her. He wasn't a complete piece of trash. It was because of this that Dai Meng decided to challenge Fong Yu to dampen his spirit. Little did she know that this challenge had instead become Dai Meng's nightmare. Fong Yu, I will drag you down from your high horse. After thinking, Dai Meng closed her eyes. Countless black shadows danced behind her. Fong Yu was still unaware of these matters. Even if he knew, he had no intention of paying attention to them. What did the world think have to do with him? It was enough for him to be himself. Are these the treasures of the bloodthirsty demon wolves? Motherf *Ker, I'm too rich. Looking at this pile of information, Kegu clicked his tongue. The land of the Berserkers was usually known as the land of the barbarians, and one of the main reasons for that was the lack of resources in the land of the Berserkers, which made it difficult for them to train. Although the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was good, it was the same as how people couldn't become strong just by eating rice. In addition to rice, they also needed meat and other supplements to become strong and strong. As a member of the barbarian race's royal family, Kager had seen a lot of good things. But now, a demon beast had so many resources. It would be a lie if he said he wasn't surprised. There should be a lot of demonic beasts in the land of the Berserkers, right? Are these things really that rare? Feng Yaoguang asked curiously. Do you know that besides the spiritual energy in the world of Berserkers, there are far too few treasures that grow on the land of Berserkers? Even if there were, it was not something that ordinary people could obtain, and it was the same for the royal family. If martial artists were already like this, how much better could demonic beasts be? Other than the inner core of the demonic beast and the materials attached to the shell, there is really nothing else of value. Kager sighed. In this regard, everyone was speechless. They wanted to complain, but they didn't know where to start. I want these fire attribute spirit stones, materials, and spiritual weapons. Fang Yu pointed at some things and said, Hearing this, everyone was a little curious and a little confused. The resources in front of them were actually vaguely divided into 9 portions. The portion that Fang Yu pointed at seemed to have been deliberately divided by him earlier. However, the overall value was about the same as the other 8 portions, or even a little less, so they didn't pay much attention to it. Now that Fang Yu asked for this portion of the materials, they were naturally a little curious. However, curiosity aside, they wouldn't ask the root of the matter over such a small matter. In the end, the 9 of them were happy with the result. Are we going to find a city to spend the night in next? Lu Shenzhan asked again. When she mentioned this matter just now, Fang Yu didn't answer directly. Now that they had finished searching the lair of the demonic beasts, it was time to get back to the main topic. Fang Yu smiled and said, "There's no hurry. Let's rest here for a while and continue our journey at night." Continue our journey at night? Lu Shenzhan's eyelids twitched wildly. What did he mean by continuing their journey at night? Who didn't know that during the night, the beast horde would run amok? If they weren't careful, they would die? It's the literal meaning. As for the specific meaning, you will know when the time comes. Fang Yu said mysteriously. That night, people hid in various cities and towns to avoid the beast horde. The strength of the beast horde wasn't something that martial artists could withstand directly. Although Flame City had produced a Fang Yu and a Dai Meng, 2 lunatics, and fortunately, both of them didn't die. However, such people were hard to come by. Similarly, they didn't want to take the risk of becoming such people. I wonder which city Fang Yu will be spending the night in tonight. Someone suddenly said. Now, Fang Yu was an out-and-out celebrity. Because until now, no one had been able to shake his number 1 position. Number 1 on the first day and number 1 on the second day. Although he was now number 1 and might not have the last laugh, Fang Yu had indeed gained a wave of popularity this time. Roar. Countless beasts' roars woke up the martial artists who were still thinking nonsense. Seeing the beast horde surging over, many martial artists couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Such a ferocious scene. How did Fang Yu and the rest endure the fear and kill their way out? Even if they needed points, they couldn't just throw away their lives, right? Rumble! Soon, the beast horde reached the city. The majestic beast horde continued to attack the city walls, causing people to not even dare to breathe loudly. That night, Flame City also had a beast horde. The difference was that there were no level 7 beasts ruling over it. Of course, they didn't know whether it was true or not. Because last night, the bloodthirsty fiend wolf also hid and was forced to appear later. If not for Fang Yu causing such a ruckus and embarrassing it, it wouldn't have come out either. As the lord of the demonic beasts, appearing on the first night was a little too degrading. Therefore, it was reasonable for the bloodthirsty fiend wolf to be especially angry. However, the demonic beasts came menacingly. Even if there were no level 7 beast commanders, they still didn't dare to face them head-on. After all, not everyone was Fang Yu or Dai Meng. And, if Fang Yu and the rest killed the bloodthirsty fiend wolf, according to the route, they should have reached Blue Water City around the same time as us. Why don't I see them? Some martial artists who rushed over from Flame City to Blue Water City discovered that the situation was not right. There was no sign of Fang Yu and the rest here at all. They couldn't help finding it strange. One had to know that Blue Water City and Flame City were neighbors. Unless they had been rushing all the way, otherwise Blue Water City would most likely be the place to stay tonight. Chapter 238. It was already night time, and the beast tide had arrived, but Feng Yu and the others had not arrived yet. Could it be that they were sleeping in the wilderness? Thinking of this, some people's eyes flickered. Actually, they did not dare to challenge Feng Yu. Not to mention that Feng Yu had many experts around him, just the few of them would not be able to do anything. Feng Yu himself was also a ruthless character. Even Dai Meng, the martial king, had been defeated. What could they do to Feng Yu? However, if it was the demonic beasts outside, it was very likely. One of the characteristics of the Azure Dragon Mirror was that there were many demonic beasts from level 1 to level 9. In the core area there were even demon kings. Even if Feng Yu and the others were very strong and could kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf, what about 2 bloodthirsty demon wolves? What about 3? What about 4? Could they still kill all of them? Therefore, there was still a high chance that Feng Yu and the others would die outside. They are still a team. If they all die, wouldn't it be? Thinking of this, some people's eyes flickered. There were 9 empty seats all of a sudden. One had to know that in Feng Yu's 9-man team, even the weakest Feng Yaoguang had a chance of entering the finals. Because it was only the second day of the second round. For most people, the second round was like a catalyst. Under normal circumstances, it would take a long time to break through the cultivation level. Even the threshold of martial spirit could be broken through within this month. This kind of experience was very difficult to encounter outside. First of all, there were not so many geniuses outside, which was the biggest problem. Moreover, even if there were, they might not be so restrained when they made a move. With the protection of the Azure Dragon Mirror, it was not that dangerous here. They could also train themselves, so why not? At this time, Lu Xinjian and the others were moving with Feng Yu. Feng Yu, what are you planning? It's already night, and it's rare that the bloodthirsty demon wolf's den is empty. It's fine even if we spend the night. Why are we in a hurry? What if we run into them? What should we do? Lu Xinjian asked. Wasn't that right? Her original suggestion was to reach Bluewater City before nightfall and spend the night there. Or he could just stay in the bloodthirsty demon wolf's den for the night. In any case, with the bloodthirsty demon wolf gone, the lair was still very safe. However, Feng Yu had them set off at night. What were they trying to do? Was he courting death? However, Lu Xinjian was very clear that Feng Yu was not a person who was afraid of death, nor was he a person who would easily give up his life. Therefore, this situation was depressing. Now that the beast horde is rioting, where do you think is the safest place? Seeing that Lu Xinjian wouldn't give up until he got an answer, Feng Yu sighed and had to take the initiative to reveal some things. Where is it? Aren't they in the major cities and towns? Lu Xinjian asked doubtfully. Wrong. Feng Yu shook his head. Actually, you just said the correct answer. Why did you forget it? Demonic beast lair. Feng Yaoguang suddenly reacted. That makes sense. Now that the demonic beasts are all out, the rear is empty. Even if there are still demonic beasts guarding, there won't be many of them. Feng Yu, your sneak attack is simply wonderful. Bai Wuxia praised. Feng Yu was really a genius. He could even come up with such an idea. Everyone couldn't help but look at Feng Yu a few more times. How did this person's brain grow? An average person shouldn't be able to come up with such an idea. After all, when the demonic beasts were running rampant at night, even if it was too late to enter the city, they would have to find a secluded place to wait for the day to come. Otherwise, if they were caught in the beast horde, what was the difference between that and sending themselves to their death? There was no difference. However, Feng Yu not only charged into the beast horde last night, he even escaped unscathed. Tonight, he didn't even return to the city. Instead, he went to sneak attack. Was this the correct way for a martial artist? This wasn't right. Actually, this is an idea that I suddenly came up with when I was searching for the bloodthirsty demon wolf's lair today. The bloodthirsty demon wolf is dead, and the lair is empty. Even if we rush at full speed, we won't be able to return in a short time. Since that's the case, why don't we just sneak in? Fang Yu said generously. That's not good, Wang Zhong said. Wang Zhong was after all a descendant of a sage family. Although he wasn't opposed to what Fang Yu said, he was helpless. Why is that not good? Fang Yu said seriously. First of all, isn't it very dangerous for a high-level demonic beast to lead an army to attack the city? Yes, but as long as we're in the city, it should be quite safe, Wang Zhong replied. Just like last night in Flame City, Fang Yu had offended the bloodthirsty demon wolf. He wanted to break into the formation, but he still couldn't succeed. Therefore, as long as they entered the formation, it was still very safe. No. You're wrong about this. In fact, the formation will weaken as time passes, and the attacks of the demonic beasts will get stronger and stronger, Fang Yu corrected. But we martial artists are also getting stronger day by day. As time goes by, we should maintain a balance, Wang Zhong said. That's not important. Fang Yu shook his head and waved his hand. What's important is that I gave a wrong demonstration yesterday. I'm afraid that they will learn from me and charge into the beast tide to gain points. If someone dies because of this, I'll be guilty. Perhaps Blue Water City isn't the only place that will take risks, Wang Zhong asked again. But my ability is limited. I can only take charge of the Blue Water City's demonic beast lair, Fang Yu said seriously. Big brother, in the end, he just wants to sneak in. He has to do it. Don't ask, lest he thinks of some excuses to deal with you. Kegu sighed and patted Wang Zhong's shoulder. Wang Zhong was stunned. He did not expect Fang Yu to have such thoughts. Alright. This is the real Fang Yu. So, the next time you encounter something like this, just think in this direction. You don't have to worry about anything else. Mo Ling reminded him. Wang Zhong nodded silently. Blue Water City. The demonic beast in charge of Blue Water City was the Great Ape of General. It was a grade 7 demonic beast, but its body was stronger than ordinary demonic beasts of the same level. It was a grade 8 demonic beast, so it was very famous among the grade 7 demonic beasts. It commanded the demonic beast tide from behind, pointing at the mountains and rivers, stirring up the words, and criticizing with vigor. It was so uncomfortable. This was because it was also very intelligent, far more intelligent than the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Because of this, Blue Water City was very dangerous every night. Because the Great Ape of Gen was secretly observing, they did not dare to leave the city lest they never returned. The Great Ape of Gen constantly commanded the demonic beast tide to attack, and the martial artists on the city wall kept quiet out of fear. Wasn't this grade 7 demonic beast too smart? You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.